Struggle H me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special review. This is our first episode of the Mandalorian series. My name is, I don't know, the Bounty Hunter Travis Snail. It's a good day. Disney Plus is here.
It's a solid nickname. You can't go wrong. I am the midichlorian Dylan Muss.
I am the one who has spoken, Kirkland Patzer.
I am the being Taylor Field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surprised nobody took the Mandalorian. I guess that would have been just a cop.
Two on the nose, I think.
Yeah, seriously.
I thought about it, but I just said The Mandalorian, so I didn't want to do that. So if you haven't guessed, we are about to review The Mandalorian. This is our first ever. We've done this kind of with the retros, but this is going to be our first ever live of a TV show doing episode week to week to week. So we'll be there. It all depends on our schedule, but our goal is to try and have it in within 24 hours, maybe a little later. Sometimes all depends, but we're going to be covering every episode. It's going to work the same as review, that we will talk non-spoiler, give our thoughts, and then we'll jump to review. So also make sure you go do that.
Yes.
What else have we dropped?
I just want to say thanks to everyone for the stream, all the support and donations. I haven't been on since the stream, so that was a really fun time.
That was lots of fun.
Thank you everyone for the amazing support.
Luigi's Mansion we dropped. We didn't drop. We didn't make the game, but we dropped it. So you check that out. I did Dr. Sleep review. Me and Dylan in the next week we'll be reviewing Death Stranding, which you'll want to tune that because I think we got a lot to say about that game.
Oh man,
yeah,
it's a game.
Yeah, get that game if you're if you're a PlayStation owner. Get that game. Isn't there something else big coming up? Oh, Jedi Fallen
Yeah,
Order.
Mister.
Yeah,
Mister.
Oh, God.
You're in trouble, Travis.
I don't want to be called that. Yeah, so me and Taylor will be doing a review for that. We're going to try to aim for within a week. That's what we try, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not as big as Death Stranding. But so, yeah, we got lots of stuff on the horizons. You'll have other reviews, newscasts, things like that. So you want to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, it's going to be the monkey, that you don't want to do that.
So what'd you say?
The makunky? The
Makunky.
Makunky. The makunky.
Is that a reference from the show that I watched half an hour ago? That I remember?
No.
It's a classic reference to Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yeah, you would have never seen it until today. It's a long story. George Lucas just messing
I've seen that
around
movie
with
a
stuff.
couple times.
Yeah, not this one. There's a new one on Disney Plus. Thanks, George. McCunky.
I don't understand this reference.
Me
That's
neither.
fine. We don't need to go into it.
Kirkland was right here when we talked
He
about it
definitely
earlier,
was.
so Kirkland's just a bastard. Taylor Field, I'm going to let you start. We're going to do
The poor man's jet lagged, and you're giving him a hard time.
He's here for you, the fans. Yeah, we're going to do our non-spoilers thought. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. Taylor's going to say Geek vs. Assemble. But, and Clone Wars Retro. That will be back after this series. We decided that it's going to take 8. It's only 7 weeks, and then after that, Clone Wars is back in February, so we're going to have a bunch of episodes ready to release. So that's where that show is. If you're interested, go back and check out. We've done 3 seasons of Clone Wars. Taylor, what do you think about this? The first ever live action TV show for Star Wars.
Oh man, yeah, it came in so quickly, and it felt like it just took forever to come. It's just
What?
So it's great because like last night I was thinking, okay, I'm looking
You were
at
super salty.
I was salty.
When I was
looking
watching
at,
it.
Well, I was looking at the countdown timer. It's like it's not gonna be out till 3 a.m. and Travis is flexing his fucking
VPNs, baby.
VPN shit. I'm like, well, this fucking.
We do not
guy.
condone VPNs on the Geek First podcast. That is a Travis view only.
You happen to say something along the lines like they're being generous to Canadians or something like that. And I was like, I'll take a look. And I looked, and it was like, sign up.
I never would say something in my life. They're being generous to Canadians. I just said it looks like it's live in Canada.
Yeah, kind of different context.
So I took that information. I went onto their site. And it was live. I was like, oh my God. So I signed up. I got it on movie of the week is Bruno.
Yeah, what the
ladies and
fuck?
gentlemen.
I didn't pick that one. I don't know why it
That's
got
definitely
picked.
a Taylor pick.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah.
Game of the week is Outer Worlds.
Game of the week Outer
Yeah,
Worlds.
there you go.
But yeah, so basically I signed up, got all the devices, and it was just I'm happy that the app was ready to go on everything. I could just pop it up on the big screen on my TV, and it was good to go. And it was just so blown away just seeing, first of all, like the whole Disney Plus thing was awesome, and then just finding the Mandalorian, just playing it and just building up anticipation.
You make it sound like you had to go digging. Like I feel like it's on the front page, no matter who
It's
you
like
are.
the first thing.
Yeah.
It was so good. But it just cranking that sound bar to all the lights were off. It was dark, and then we just played it, and oh my God, it was fast. I feel like it was definitely a quick episode, but
Oh yeah, it's like 36 minutes.
Yeah.
39, actually.
39.
I'm not counting the credits.
Stay woke.
The credits are nice
Stay
though.
woke.
Hey, they are.
They're
Credits are
gorgeous
very
credits.
I count them.
Everything that happened, I just felt like, okay, like we're thrust into this world and this universe, and it's just something that you don't need to know or have an opening crawl that just details all of this stuff or just covers everything for the past decade or last year or 2 years like normal Star Wars movies have. It just throws you in with this character and a series of chain of events unfolds, and it just takes you on, and it flows very nicely, and just everything pulls you in. And when you combine like the aesthetic with the acting and the score, and just how, especially like I'm gonna be just big shouting Dave Filoni out for this, because like his
Dave
work
Filoni.
and Jon Favreau as well, like just the two of them together is like the fucking dream team dynasty duo over here, like dynasty duo. They were just on fire, and I feel like they treated this as like they're like a big shot and this is a big set for Star Wars. It's huge to be finally jumping into the live action scene for a TV series, especially. And they took so many elements that we have become familiar with in the Star Wars universe, so many things that we want to become familiar with, and spliced them together into a perfect Star Wars universe that feels classic and then new and fresh at the same time. And it just sets up for an awesome but really high level that I hope is met as the episodes progress. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for now.
You mentioning that there was like the lack of the crawl. Is this the first time in any Star Wars thing that there's no crawl?
The spinoffs.
Oh, okay.
Rogue One Solo.
Just Rogue One. What was the last one?
This fucking guy.
Well, Rogue One had a crawl.
No, it didn't.
Really? Okay.
Wrong.
Maybe it shows how the lack of times that I've watched that movie. But
Disney Plus.
I thought it was interesting and like very like
That's
it didn't need it for sure. The crawl, it just jumped you right in there. Something that Travis mentioned in the group chat, because of course he was the one flexing the VPNs and he got to see it first. But just like the cool little like Star Wars like intro thing, kind of like what Marvel has going for it. Oh man, I loved it. It just totally got me in like the mood for it. And I guess I'll just take it away from my overall for this show.
Selfish.
But no, overall, I absolutely loved this first episode. I thought it was just such a good like introduction for this series that we're going to be going into. It just felt very like original Star Wars for me. Like it really reminded me of like the original trilogy, not the prequels. Like it just having like the aliens that were like puppets or like not CGI'd really, or like
practical.
Yeah, practical effects. I just thought it looked really good. I think all Star Wars movies have them, but just like those classic Star Wars like transitions, like it just totally brought me in.
Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah, totally. It just totally brought me into this Star Wars universe, and I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm in Taylor's category where like I wasn't like counting down the minutes for this to come out. It just kind of came out and I jumped into it, so I wasn't like overly prepared and like looking into like what the story's supposed to be like where we're supposed to be. I didn't even know that it was supposed to be like 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. What was that?
6 years.
No, it's 5.
5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Get Bob.
I googled it. So.
I swear I got a bad synopsis.
Oh,
I swear
no.
It's like 6 years after that.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
I
like
lost.
me going into it pretty blind, I don't know, I had pretty low expectations, but like man, it just totally, I don't know, it just got me itching for Friday for the next episode, right? And that's what you should do on your pilot episode. I don't know, I'm just so hyped for the next episode, and I'm excited to talk about spoiler stuff, so I'll just pass it along.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much to say non-spoilers. I mean, it is really short episode.
Yeah.
And it's like right now you're probably using that Disney Plus free trial. So it's like you might as well check this show out and
Yeah,
see if it's for
exactly.
you. It's pretty quick to make that decision. As for myself, I think you know one thing, a curious question that might come up when you hear live action Star Wars is, okay, like what is the budget going to be? Because that's a huge thing, right? How are you going to stretch that out and still make it feel like Star Wars, which are these movies that have really high production value across the board. Even movies that I don't like still have great cinematography in them, great music and stuff like that. And I think from that perspective, I mean, I don't know if this show, I'm guessing there wasn't like a pilot that they pitched and then they funded the rest of the show.
Doubt it.
Yeah,
No,
they probably
yeah.
did the whole thing. So I don't think you can really look at this episode, like you could probably realistically look at this episode as a reflection of what the budget is going to what the show is going to look like for the whole thing. So I think that's a good sign because it really is pretty top notch. Like there's a bunch of things in here. I was just picturing like, oh, Taylor screenshotted that and that's his like screensaver now. Or this one, like the music in general is really good, but there's one sequence that just has like this amazing track that I was just bumping to big time. As for the story, it's very kind of quick introduction to the character. And it got me. I'm hooked. I'm interested. I'm definitely down for the ride. Yeah, it's cool. I don't think there's too much more I want to say like non-spoilers because it's fun. But it's hard, like I can't recommend the show yet, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not far enough in yet for me to know if it's going to be anything like that. But it's a cool concept overall, the idea of a bounty hunter, and I like the story setup, you could say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it did everything that you need for a pilot to do. I think that it's not. Me and Kirkland talked about this on the El Camino review. You shout out Lost, and I shout out like Breaking Bad, and then Dexter's like pilots. I think are like these perfect 1 hour movies. I don't think this is it. Clearly, there's more planned, but I don't think it's one of the most amazing pilots of all time. But I think for a Star Wars first ever live action pilot, this was a great. It was a great showing. It reminds me a lot of playing the Star Wars video games, and we'll get into that more in spoilers. But there's just certain instances where it felt like that. It's not tackling the themes of Knights of the Republic, but just when you're just walking around and you're seeing people live their lives and seeing these creatures and seeing even like side quest sort of things, that's what this gave me the vibe for. And that makes sense when we always talk about like The Witcher coming up. Like some video games should be TV shows because you need those hours, and that's what this felt like. This felt like the first level to a video game, which I really enjoyed. The biggest compliment I would give the score, I can't never pronounce his name, but Ludwig Göransson, I'm not sure, but he did Black Panther. He won an Oscar for Black Panther, but this is like, other than John Williams, I always find the scores. Solo had some all right stuff. Rogue One, I was not a fan of. So I always find without him, it doesn't feel right. It feels like it's missing something. But he feels like he's doing classic Star Wars, but then also something new. So that's what I love. So I really hope when John Williams, because he's done after Episode 9, I hope this guy takes it over because it's just that right mix. It's just a good world building thing. Yeah, I don't know how much more non-spoilers I have to say. I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll really enjoy this. I think it's I think you could even jump this as a non-Star Wars fan and maybe appreciate it. It is smaller, like these guys have said, so it's not like a huge time commitment. And I think you could watch this episode, the next episode, and if you're not into it, then fine. But I think as of right now, just in a 40-minute, 39-minute, 36-minute, whatever the runtime is, it's like what I pictured a Star Wars bounty hunter show would be. That's what this is so far, and that's the best thing. I think they nailed it, and I think they hit a home run as far as delivering something solid, something good. And to me, it's also just if you end an episode and you want to see the next one, that's the way to do it. Obviously, we're going to be reviewing all these, and the Star Wars side watch it. But if it feels like, obviously, we binge them, but if it's a Jessica Jones situation or Iron Fist where you go, I got to get through these episodes, right? Where we're not at that point, but just for an episode to end and you go, I want to watch more. If the episode ends and you wish it was bingeable, that's done its job. That's when I'm like, yeah, it's Friday, but still I'm like, oh, I wish I could know what's coming next. So I think this is perfect. I think obviously we'll have to see the whole series, but I think this is off to a good start, So I'm confident where they're going. So
Well said.
Anything else non-spoilers?
Nah.
I agree with you on the score. There's some scenes I'll shout out in the spoilers for you, but like it really because I don't know. I feel like I'm the type of person that when I watch it for the first time, I don't really catch the score all the time. I'm just like trying to absorb like the story and what's going on. But like there is definitely standout scores, or I guess you would just call them sequences.
Yeah.
Of beauty. But
Beauty.
I loved it. It definitely stood out to me.
3, 2, 1.
Geek versus Assemble.
So we're going into spoilers now. So if you've not seen it, watch it and come back. It sounds like we all recommend to some sort of point of view. Where do we want to start with this bad boy?
Oh man, that's a
Or
good
do
question.
we just want to jump to the obvious, to the ending?
Well,
you're smiling
we
over there,
we
twiddling
could,
your
but I
fingers.
mean, I'm okay with leaving that juicy part for the end. I really am. I'm okay with talking about everything else. Giving the fans some anticipation to when we get to that topic, because that is the juiciest.
Kirkland, Dylan.
I don't know if it's a big spoiler part, but I'll just talk about like the guild of like bounty hunters. I guess like is this the first time that they've talked about it, or am I just missing a big part in the movie?
They've talked about it in other forms of like media, like novels and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think Briggs is actually really big in the Bounty Hunters Guild kind of lore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't believe they've covered it in the movies.
It very much reminded me of Knights of the Old Republic, because I think in like the first area like the first planet you go to, there you can actually do like bounty hunter stuff. So it very much reminded me of that, and I don't know, I'm just a sucker for like badass bounty hunter stuff. So I was just totally getting into it when like we don't know his name yet, right? He's just the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian?
Yeah. So the Mandalorian, when he's talking about like taking all of the bounties, but he's like, no, I can't do that because it's like that's all I have for the guild. And like I'm excited to get more into them, like the dynamic between different bounty hunters and stuff. Like obviously there's a bounty hunter droid that we kind of got to meet at near the end there. So
what I liked about it too is the like kind of opening sequence like portrays him as just like this ultimate badass, like top echelon bounty hunter, but then it's kind of revealed like, quickly that he's kind of still lower in the ranks
Yeah.
or middle in the ranks or something like that. I think that was pretty cool because
No.
it just like if anything is maybe like foreshadowing some other like badass characters we're gonna get to meet who are
Yeah.
even stronger than he is.
No, I totally agree with you. And like I felt like aspects of, I don't know, it reminded me of kind of like RPG elements of like in a video game, how like, I don't know, like you are this cool character that has a lot of potential, but like you're not necessarily like that top, like the max level type guy. And like that's totally what it felt like. Even when he gets I think it's called Beskar.
Beskar Steel.
Yeah, when he gets the
Yeah.
Beskar steel, and then he's kind of like improving his gear and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Throughout the show, we're gonna see him get his
Yeah,
new stuff.
no,
and get
exactly,
better
and I'm
He's
like-
a new pauldron.
yeah, like I'm excited to just see like the new gear he gets and like the new gadgets. I don't know, like obviously he's got his basic gear, like that little hook shot thing that he has.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I really like his loadout, and I'm excited to see where it goes and how much
His
they tackle
loadout.
on that.
Yeah, I really liked just the setup scene of them at the diner or whatever, the cantina.
yeah.
I
Of
said
course.
Diner. Fuck me.
Well, I feel like you
Denny's.
could just say like
Space Denny's.
Star Wars diner scene, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they always
yeah.
have them.
Yeah, and I just loved, like, first of all, I just love the little things they're using for, like, the pucks and the money, and they're showing, like, the different currencies. That was cool. Just, that's the biggest thing, and we talked about that when Force Awakens came back. They really focused on the little things in Star Wars, and that's what I think this does very well.
Mhm.
What I want to ask you, Taylor, is because obviously I'm watching Clone Wars, so I know not exactly what happens to Mandalorian, but I know their planet, something bad happens, and there's kind of a falling, right? So, obviously, we had Boba Fett messing around. When he's meeting that woman building the armor, what is that going on? Because Kurgan kind of talked about, like, is that something known? Like, is this a thing that we had known in canon before, that there's still kind of a mini underworld organization? I kind of thought it sounded like the Mandalorians were pretty spanned on after something bad happened to their planet.
Yes, you are correct. The Mandalorians became very spread thin, I'd say, and like diversified after what happens. And then obviously there's a lot in Rebels that I need to rewatch and recover so that I can solidify my knowledge and information on this. But Rebels kind of, I think, from what I'm aware, will explain probably a little bit further, where the Mandalorians have kind of ended up in this at this time. Because yes, during the Clone Wars, it really messes with them, and then obviously the Empire really messes with them again. And in this case, I don't know what this would be called. I would just call it probably just a small Mandalorian guild or something like
Yeah.
that, or just some
Yeah, 'cause
small.
They had like the Mandalorian symbol. I don't know if you caught that.
They did.
Like going, I don't know. I just love the look of the Forge too. I thought
And
it was
I
badass.
Yeah.
swear, wasn't
Yeah.
there another person behind him when he was getting armor that had a cloak?
Now, that's in
please
my notes.
Stop, please. No, why? Is there millions of threads being like, is that Boba Fett? Is he alive? Of course there is. He's dead. He's a shitty character. Let's get over it.
So
I knew it. I
you
knew it.
touched upon that, and I don't want to tackle directly on topics of my notes, but if someone brings it up, I'll tackle it.
So yeah, I
Pull
said
out the paper.
it's when he's talking to the woman.
Yellow
you see
paper too,
yeah.
right? Like not your
legal,
typical
legal notepad.
Yeah, seriously.
So what's your news? What's
So
your
yeah,
thing?
that's basically at the
That's Boba Fett.
18
Well, it's
minute,
done, guys.
18 minute, 31
oh,
second
his
mark.
time codes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, time codes. I love it.
Times
Yeah. So basically, yeah, there is an armored Mandalorian in behind the main Mandalorian walking. Now here's the thing. If you actually freeze frame and take a look at him, he has identical
Pan,
colors
zoomify.
to Boba Fett. He's got the cloak just like Boba Fett. He has the exact same dent on his helmet that Boba Fett has. And his helmet is literally spot on identical. Now,
Right.
granted, in
The only difference is he's alive. Right?
well, the thing is, in the original canon, before Disney bought it and cut it all, Boba Fett was alive. He escaped, and
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
survived getting
He
swallowed.
survived, yeah. So this is obviously 5 years later, and obviously there's no confirmation. I'm not holding my breath that it is, but Dave Filoni, he likes to just dabble with these things. He likes to just stoke the fire, get us to stoke the fire for him. So
100%, because there'll be 1,000 BuzzFeed articles.
oh, tens of thousands.
10 reasons why
I'm
this
still
is Boba
convinced
Fett.
that
Yeah.
the only reason Taylor likes Solo is because Darth Maul shows up at one point for half a second.
I don't know
so
what you're talking
for
about.
all those fans out there who just will take any Star Wars character they know, I'm sure it's easy, right?
Same as Rogue One. That's why it's his favorite Star Wars movie, that Vader hallway scene.
No,
That's
Yeah,
why.
Rogue
exactly.
One all around is just a fucking fantastic
Yeah.
movie.
So you don't think that's Boba Fett? I think that
I'm
could
not
just be-
holding my breath that it is, but like, when I looked at it,
Taylor,
I was
just
like,
say
you
think it is.
no, legit. I'm not believing that it is.
Okay.
When I
I'm
looked,
not
like,
believing. He's not putting a firm.
no, because like he does
not
like
believing that
got
it
his
is.
lawyer
my
paper.
points is like the
Yeah.
his stance definitely looks like it.
no.
Now, hear me out. Hear me
Welcome
out.
to Clone Wars
Strut.
retro.
He's got the predator walk going.
So Boba Fett, he's got his very signature stance,
Oh,
you know,
no.
and his stance in this guild, it looks very different, and even his cloak is much longer, and it's different in that sense. But again, I can't dispute the fact that the colors are very much the same, and the helmet
can I.
again is very much identical.
Mhm.
So, and it's a clear shot. If you freeze that frame at
18:39.
18:31,
31.
you can see for yourself. And this is a question I posed to
I'm
the
gonna
fans.
go home and do that because I did not catch that.
I
as
definitely
a,
did.
Do
uh,
it, do it.
as a casual,
What?
filthy casual Disney Plus.
I didn't
fan.
see that on my phone.
Yeah.
I want the fans to do it too, and like submit us what you think. If you think I'm just a lying narwhal or
Well, I
whatever.
don't think it's lying.
Narwhal.
Like, you could be wrong in your prediction, but I think you're lying. Like if you say I think that's Boba Fett, it turns out not Boba Fett. Then like, oh, Taylor was lying.
yeah, well, I'm not
Fake
saying
Yeah.
news. He's
news.
not claiming. He's not claiming.
Yeah, if
he's
you're-
not denying. I'll say that.
If you're like Zack Snyder texted me and said it's Boba Fett and it wasn't, then yeah, you're a liar, and Zack Snyder's
Fair
lying
enough.
too.
I'm just gonna quickly say if that's Boba Fett, I think that's cheap, and like there's no point for that character to return in this
No.
canon, and
No.
like I don't know, like like we've seen it in Solo. You know, they brought back Darth Maul
Worked out great.
and then in Rogue One they brought back Vader. It's just like I feel like that's just cheap fan service for me. I might be in that group that I absolutely love that Darth Vader scene, but I don't know if that's a minority or if most people like that.
I love
But
it.
like, if they bring back Boba Fett, in my eyes, he's dead. He's in that belly. He's just dissolved. And
Let me pose this
Oh,
question to
no.
you. So now, and the way I see it, you know, Dave Filoni is not someone who's just gonna lay it out for you. He wouldn't probably bring back Boba Fett at all. That might be literally the only time that we ever see this character, and he just leaves it totally up to us to interpret if it is or if it isn't. But he won't answer. He likes to leave these subtle things.
what has this guy done? Like, am I
He-
supposed to know what
He
he
did
That's what I was gonna-
last Airbender.
Okay. Stop.
Clone Wars.
Stop.
Rebels.
Let me explain. For years, he worked with George Lucas, and he runs he runs the animation side of Star Wars. This was his first live action.
So he's working
director-
with George Lucas.
He worked with George Lucas. Obviously, the purchase happened, but he's a creator along with George as Clone Wars and Rebels, and then he's also kind of done like some dabbling in books and comics. But this is his first live action thing, and
Okay.
he's not show running the show with Jon Favreau, but he has a lot of like cred. Like he's,
Yeah.
I'd say, almost a producing partner, but not even by name. But so he knows a lot of. He is a Feige-esque with not the power.
So he
he's
does-
the Feige-esque of animation.
He's
So-
a Feige without the hat.
Yeah.
So he does have.
he has a hat. He wears cowboy hats.
Oh,
Legit.
shit.
does.
So
An even bigger hat.
so he does have some history of like
Oh,
putting
yeah.
some Easter eggs type things in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
He is definitely like praised as like being
An
up there
Easter
for
egg god.
knowing his Star Wars lore to
Yeah.
a
The
point.
original
He's
Easter
like
egg.
the Lucas handboy.
Like he
that's what
wins
is.
trivia night.
100%.
Star Wars is on the table.
So what I was going to ask you as far as actual story plot, I don't think that's both that. I think it's just a fun Easter egg if it is. I don't think we need him. With the and the other thing I'll say, I didn't love.
I'm down for Boba. Give me Boba.
Give you Boba.
Hashtag give me Boba.
I didn't love the like the flashbacks to his origins. I felt that was a little crammed in. Like we got to show he has a traumatic experience. It was very random.
Yeah.
It's just this girl's hammering some metal, and he's just like thinking
Getting
about it. But
flashbacks,
yeah,
yeah.
it was to me just felt like a very pilot. Like
Yeah.
get this in there. So I think they could have saved that. I don't think we needed anything to show
His backstory
Yeah,
and stuff.
especially too like when we get to the ending. Obviously, he makes a choice to. It could be for money, but maybe not to kill that certain thing, right? So the whole pilot, you could think he's a bad guy, but when we see those flashbacks, it's kind of like, oh, he might be a good guy because he had a traumatic childhood, right? So I don't think it was needed, and I think it was a little ham-fisted in there. But I like that scene overall. I like the mystery it adds because obviously these Mandalorians aren't around in the new era with the JJ era,
Yeah,
right?
well-
So it's like, where are these people? What are they doing after their government fell? You know?
Yeah,
so.
no, I totally agree with you. I feel like it was unnecessary, especially like we know the next episode's coming, and they easily could have thrown it in there. But
Mhm.
like, I don't know, maybe you're supposed to, like you said, like it's supposed to just show the average viewer that like, okay, this guy isn't just an evil character. But for
It's
me,
a Disney thing.
I've never taken like the Mandalorians or like the bounty hunters as necessarily evil guys. Like that's just their profession. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They gotta they gotta pay their bills.
Mhm.
But like having that quick scene of like his backstory, it also goes hand in hand with him mentioning, what were they called? It's like a fallen child, or like what was the term? It was like I was once a lost
They were foundlings.
foundlings. Yeah. So like I don't know, like when they mentioned that, I'm like, okay, it kind of goes with the fact that like I'm assuming his parents died.
100%.
It's very quick shots. So like I guess you can make the argument like that's why they showed that, because the reason why he's a foundling is because he's kind of an orphan, right? So I guess you could give it that, but like also it was so quick and like
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like they could have just tackled it so much better in like another episode where he's forced to kind of talk about his backstory
Someone
or something, right?
asks him,
Yeah,
you know, he gets
exactly.
knocked unconscious. But no, does this just mean anytime he's sitting around, he just think about like, man, my parents are still
Yeah,
dead.
like
you know?
if he's on the
fucking
can,
Bruce Wayne.
he's on the
over
can,
here.
just
Yeah, he's Bat. Oh, Crime Alley. Fuck. Why do we see? Why do we see the Zorro, the gay Blade?
do not go to Crime Alley.
No. Your parents died, everything. But yeah, I like that scene. I'm interested to see what goes on. I'm interested that they didn't. Obviously, Mandalorians, they don't take their helmets off, so it's a big thing. But she seemed like a mysterious kind of like the ringleader. So I don't know how much we'll see in the next few episodes because it seems like he's in adventure mode. But I think we could touch Stone back there. And I like she's kind of, we're talking about video games. She's like the hub of like go out and do this.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
definitely the quest giver. She had that full on.
Quest.
That's what we'll call her from now on.
She had the full on Spartan helmet.
That's
too,
yeah,
right?
totally. I totally
Golden.
got those vibes.
Yeah, 300. One thing that Travis mentioned earlier, I want to touch on is just the world building aspect, just the little things, those details, because I think that's the thing that Star Wars does the best, just in general. I'm just talking all Star Wars movies, even the bad Star Wars movies. They always have some scenes here or there that really do a good job of just like giving life to a certain place, whether it's a town, just and people in the background. Like there in this episode, there was just like they were frying some weird like ET looking creature.
That is a.
On the
I wrote the
rotisserie.
name down. It's a Quakian monkey lizard.
I should have known.
Yeah.
Quaking
You should have known,
monkey
Dylan.
It's the
lizard.
same thing from Return of the Jedi.
That's what I'm gonna be for Halloween
I
next year.
would not have known that, but yeah, you see one on the rotisserie, kind of getting cooked up, and then his little buddy who in the cage as well, and even just like when he's going kind of through that hallway, you can see other people just doing transactions in the background. This guy's like buying rope or something, and I love that element of Star Wars because it's something I look for in a lot of these other like fantasy movies and I don't know. It just doesn't happen, or it feels like it's not purposeful. Whereas Star Wars, it's always really well done, and I think they did a good job here. And I think I'm guessing considering it's just a lot of hours of the show compared to one movie, but I think we'll get a lot of that, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
the
no.
next 7 episodes, he's just in a cave
And
with
what
that
is-
woman.
Where is it?
Quest giver.
What planet are we on? Or
I was going to
town?
ask you, with both planets, they didn't give head
Like,
or
it
I
looked
don't believe
Tatooine-esque
there's a name.
is
Yeah,
to me.
I'd have
Another
to look into it.
Dirt
so.
Planet 5. Yeah.
Dirt
Yeah.
Planet 5.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Crime Alley.
Crime Alley. Yeah,
Definitely like the low level area, right?
yeah, scummy.
yeah. I
the tutorial zone.
I totally agree with you though. Just like the world building, it just, like I said in the non-spoiler, like it just sets that Star Wars mood, and like we get the classic. I guess there's 2 cantina scenes in here. There's one at the beginning, and then one where
And that guy gets chopped in half by the door.
yeah.
Not a way you want to go out.
It's hilarious too, because I always thought like, man, how safe are those doors? Like, do they have
Not
sensors?
safe.
And it's like, well, now they answer me. You can get chopped in
Yeah.
half by
No
them.
censors. That's how
Yeah.
he lost his parents, actually. They were running away and the door closed. And
Oh man.
They cut off, their arms got cut off, but they're still holding little Mando.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But just like the second cantina scene, it just takes you back to episode 4, like when you first go in there, and it's just a melting pot of all these different species of aliens, right? And it's just, I just love any time that you get a cantina scene. I could get one in every single Star Wars movie, and I would be happy. I know some people might think it's just repeating it, but
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan
It
of that
doesn't
stuff.
feel like they cheap out on that ever.
No.
right? Like
No.
they might have some CGI in there. They definitely do, but for the most part, they do a good job of
yeah.
either like really solid CGI on like just a minor character who might only appear for one scene, or just practical effects, which they do a lot as well.
And I think the good thing is also world building, because you look at the movies, we follow like Jedis or we follow like rogue soldiers like Han or Finn. Like this is the first time we're getting from the live action perspective of a bounty hunter their life, and that's why I like the score where it's something different but it still feels like Star Wars, where you feel like most time where you might see that bounty hunter in the background, now we're in that
Following
yeah
him.
we're following
Yeah.
him, and that's what I like is
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
I feel like that's the smart thing with what is it with Obi-Wan. I'm very excited, but that's a Jedi oriented show with Cassian. That's another like he's a spy for the rebellion, so it's like territory we've covered before, where this is we've just got glimpses of it, right? So I think looking now, like in retrospect, it's a good idea that they start I think with this one, because there's one, it's just so broad they could really take it anywhere. Like when we get to it, the way this episode ended, I didn't think we were going to go that route already. So with it being a bounty hunter, you can kind of just put him in situations and you don't have to adhere to a lore. And also, I will praise this again, I'm just happy we're not in the dark times anymore, because it's like, yeah, it's still prequel, but it's in this time where we don't know anything about, because the new trilogy is still going on, right? So we haven't heard all these books and lore. So it's like this time where, especially to me, it's an interesting time. Like the rebels just beat the Empire, they're recovering, and obviously we'll talk about Werner Herzog and whatnot. You see these stormtroopers that are, Favreau compared them to like Nazi camps, where when the Nazis got defeated, there's still like little pockets of them out there, like trying to run away or
Right.
build themselves back up. And that's what I like about this. And it's stuff, it's new things that we haven't covered in Star Wars. And I think that's good, because you got to find that right mix of like the old nostalgia that everyone loves, but something new, but not obviously some people don't like Last Jedi, like not too new. It might be too wacky for people. So I think this brought a good balance of new
Yeah.
stuff but old stuff.
They
so.
have an infinite amount of like pockets they could dig into
Yeah.
for content, for types of characters or stories they want to tell, and I think this is one that everyone's been wanting it for. Maybe not everyone. That's a bold claim. A lot of people have been wanting it. We've talked about it before, even before Mandalorian was a thing. I feel like we just talked about it'd be so cool to have a bounty hunter show / movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like it's such a neutral character that they're not tied to a single faction, right? Like when we watch Rogue One, like it's not it's not Jedi oriented, but you're still following the rebels.
That's
and
a
stuff.
good point. And even in like the traditional movies, you always have like your Reys or your Lukes who are just like very clearly good, like entirely, completely good, no wavering on that. And then the bad guys, the villains are just very, very evil. Yes, there's like transitions that happen into it, but even just like the imagery behind it, like it's just overtly evil. So it's interesting to be somewhere.
And have red.
Yeah, exactly. And they'd force choke people and have weird, creepy voices and gray skin and whatnot. So it is interesting to be put behind in the camera right behind the character who is just somewhere in the middle.
Oh,
that
exactly.
RPG element again.
Totally.
Right here.
He's right now. He's in the middle of the alignment
It's funny that you
meter.
guys are talking, like bringing up so much video game stuff. Because when I was watching, I was like, man, I just want like a full-on Star Wars like bounty hunter game.
Oh yeah.
Give me
I'm sure it exists. Like
there's one
somewhere.
on PS now. There's a Jango Fett game which is old as fuck, but it was really good when it came out. You're just collecting bounties.
See, and that's it's like a fun idea for a game. So
and like having that neutral character, you could have bounties that are more evil aligned or like good aligned.
Right, like where's the line that you
comparable
draw?
to like Fable, right? Like when you choose a good quest or a bad quest, it kind of takes you on that path.
Everyone can play Knights of the Old Republic. Just remaster
and
that
Fable.
game already. Yeah, and Fable. Yeah, Fable needs a love more than Star Wars right now.
Fable got a remastered. It's quality.
I know, but at least
Fable Anniversary.
Yeah, but then the studio got shut down.
Yeah, big time.
Rest in peace, Lionhead Studios. Taylor, you had something to say, and I kind of interrupted, I think.
No. You didn't interrupt. We all talked, and you didn't get a chance to talk, so I'm glad you talked.
Don't I'm not offended.
That sounded so like condescending. Oh, I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
It was really useful.
I bet it was nice.
It added conversation.
Another thing I was gonna pop into
You
the
should
conversation
organize
here.
those fucking notes. You flip back and forth like 18 times already.
But I think what's cool about him is that they're very hype filled. Like you can tell he's like,
Yeah.
writing this
I was
in the moment.
Very
He's
frantic.
got like a full like
I
sentence.
scribbled
just
out a line.
he was
That's a
watching
terrible idea. Take that out.
before that's not Jabba the Hutt. Which
It's a Cyrulean death monkey, not a whatever the fuck.
what is the
I don't
guy's
know.
name? What's Jabba's little companion there in Return of the Jedi?
The monkey lizard thing?
No, he's on his lap and he's laughing all the time.
Oh, the monkey lizard. Yeah, same thing.
What's his actual name?
I think it's
though?
Malicious Crumb or something.
Crumb,
like
Malicious Crumb. That sounds like a Harry Potter
Salacious
character.
Crumb.
Yeah.
It's Salacious
Yeah.
Crumb.
Oh my
Was
god.
that him in the
Malicious
cage,
Crumb.
or was that just another?
I don't know.
species?
No, because he died on the barge. Remember the
Did
barge?
we see his dead body though?
No,
I think
but
not.
maybe
It could have been
is.
Boba Fett. It could have been the same one. They're both alive.
Jeez Louise.
Where are you gonna go?
How long have we been on this
So we
rock?
talked about those. Yeah.
So
7
weeks,
7
2 days.
episodes.
Help me to recollect.
Put Willem Dafoe in a fucking Star Wars.
Oh
movie.
man,
He'd
that
be
would
great
fit.
Sith Lord.
He should be
Wow.
Ray's dad. The character
Woof.
from The Lighthouse, though.
Yeah.
Check out our Lighthouse review.
So yeah,
The light is ours.
when that gladiator Mandalorian was talking to the
still here.
Mandalorian,
The quest giver.
The quest giver
Yeah,
Quest giver, yeah.
slash armorer.
she says like obviously to him like, do you have your signet yet? And he says no. And I want to say now the signet, from what I've come to learn, basically people like him that are foundlings, they're orphans, they don't have clans because Mandalorians are divided into clans and that sort of thing.
I didn't know that.
So when they get their signet, then it's basically labeling where their clan is and where they're come from, their origin. So it's like almost like getting a name or being adopted.
would
you
they
could
each
say.
have like their own like zone, their own town that they live in, or is it, or all these
I wouldn't
different
say like towns, but
organizations
like
still
is it
part of the same
districts?
community?
Is it like Bloods versus Crips? Like you're just
there-
loyal to your.
no, there would be like clan wars, and this is why I personally really love the Mandalorians because they remind me of Predators because of the
Oh,
clans
fuck.
and like the rivalries that happen.
You gotta really specify what predators you're talking about.
Oof.
Yeah.
Alien
There you go. Thank you.
versus Predators.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just like an identity almost, and I'm curious to see now where that will go in the story and how that's going to progress.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see the differences in philosophies between different tribes, or
Yeah, the way they do certain
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that you learn about in the Clone Wars, obviously. And Travis, you've seen this. You have like Clan Vizsla, and
Yep.
they basically have their own idea and belief of how Mandalorian should be, as opposed to the
Is that the one
pacifist
Obi-Wan's
way.
girlfriend's in?
Yeah.
So that quest giver that we see in the soda is that for just his clan?
At
Well,
this
he
point,
doesn't-
I'm
he's not
we
in a
don't
clan.
know.
I don't know. I'm assuming so, but I don't have
But
an
she's
answer
not in a
yet.
clan, right? That's what she said. You
Well,
don't have
he
a
doesn't
signet
have
yet.
a signet, so obviously she is probably just like running
Okay.
this guild
Yeah.
or this like area, and he's just paying his
But
respects.
I guess
to it.
I'm just wondering like if she would just be for one clan or just kind of a
I don't know because
Yeah.
I don't
Gives
even
out
know who
bounties.
she is.
Because that's the thing in
so-
the lore. We've just kind of known that they weren't really a thing anymore. Again, if they
Mandalorians.
were just like sprinkled around like one by
Right.
themselves. So the fact that there's even 3 in the same area it's something uncharted territory for us. So
Yeah, and that's why I mean.
yeah, that's interesting.
That's why I would recommend like go see Rebels because you would learn a lot
Go see
more about.
Rebels.
Yeah, go watch Rebels. It's on Disney Plus.
Or
so
maybe
awesome.
that
Um,
this place that we're in. Do we know the name, city, town,
No.
planet? We don't know anything
No.
yet.
No.
Okay,
it looked very
maybe
Tatooine-ish,
so.
but-
Maybe maybe that's more of like the hub, and in the fact that there's
Yeah.
only a few of them, and that's the hub is like
Well,
pretty big statement. Right?
Yeah, like when they show the Mandalorian symbol, I mean, I wasn't too sure on like the clan stuff on Mandalorians, but I took it as just like a safe haven for Mandalorians.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I mean,
Could
I
be,
would
yeah.
look at it as like that.
But
too.
like it was interesting because it seems like he kind of has, I don't know, like some loyalty to that place. Because even like the Beskar piece he has, he's like, oh yeah, like the remainder, you guys can just have it or whatever.
well,
right?
it goes to other
Oh, yeah.
foundlings.
Yeah.
he went there
so-
right away, and it was like
Yeah.
he gave it up, and he's like giving up. That's a good bounty he just got there. But then he also got that cool shoulder pad.
Oh yeah,
So
that was shiny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Clash with the
Um,
outfit though. I'll say that.
So another
He
interesting
doesn't have
thing
the full set yet.
No, not yet.
that they talk about too in
Armor
the
bonus.
show is the Great Purge. Now they're not referring to the Jedi Purge. if
I've
some
seen so many
get
people say
confused.
that. It's like that's
It's not the Jedi
yeah.
Purge. What they're referring to in this sense is, from what I pieced together, now Beskar steel or Beskar iron technically is like a really rare material and resource that Mandalorians used to make their armor. As you can see, is like laser proof.
So-
It can
so
even
it-
block lightsabers to a degree.
Would it be like the same stuff that Boba Fett and Jango Fett had?
I'm assuming so. I mean,
Boba Fett's gear looked pretty dank though. Like
Yeah.
not dank in a good way. Like it was not. It was looking pretty.
I've never
weak.
heard someone say dank in a negative way before.
Really.
I've only heard it in a good way.
it's interesting because if you
So
look
wait,
at
you haven't heard in a bad way. He hasn't heard in a good
if
way.
I've
you
heard
look
it
at
only
the
in good
dictionary
ways.
definition,
Okay.
it's like objectively a bad thing,
Yeah.
but it's
Really?
become like
Okay.
a meme term
Yeah.
that it's like,
Interesting.
oh, that's
Isn't it
fucking
like
dank,
rotten
you know?
and kind of like moldy? Wouldn't that be
That's
dank?
dank.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll get to the definition before it ends.
Watch out for this guy. The way he said that.
Like you would describe a
But-
meme as dank,
And
right?
that's the
Yeah,
thing that
exactly. Dank
Herzog
memes.
said. The guy
'Cause
who's
it's
like
unholy.
the guy who's like the Empire whoever runner right now. He said that like, oh, your people. I'm talking about Mandalore. I'm not Don Cherry. Your people had all this armor and or whatever this metal,
They
and
had
you've
the
lost it.
Beskar
Yeah,
iron
but you've
steel.
lost it all. And he's like, because he said if they complete the job, he has like a crate full of it, right?
Yeah,
and he's like, how
that's-
nice would that be for you and your people to have this again? So it's like clearly something that they're missing now. And even look at his armor. It to me it looks more like the Boba Fett armor, where it's cheaper. It'll do well, but it's not going to block against a Jedi.
That's just it. So
lightsaber.
I'm willing to say at this point that Boba Fett's gear probably not. His helmet maybe
Yeah.
it probably was Beskar steel, but I think I'm willing to say Django's armor was probably that because
Django.
he was obviously it's stated he donned Mandalorian armor, and I feel like that would definitely go. It would be warranted. The lightsaber didn't touch the armor; it just fucking hit the fabric and
Yeah,
sliced
and
his
that's
head
when
off.
Mandalorians were all around. They had their own planet, right?
They were
So,
they had Mandalore, they were popping and
I
stuff.
got
but
a I got a lore
They were
question for
popping.
you,
They're
Taylor.
popping.
yeah.
Is Boba Fett's helmet Jango Fett's helmet just like recolored?
We never know. He did
Did-
pick up that head and.
I
polished it
always thought it was.
Now- I don't
think
because
it
it's
is.
his dad.
If you go by like the animated show, he spends a lot of time as just Boba Fett the kid. So I don't. It to me would imply he wasn't carrying around this helmet his
Did-
whole life.
Okay.
Did we get to that episode in the Clone Wars where you see what happens with the helmet?
I don't
Ooh.
think so. No.
Taylor
So
knows
I
stuff you
thought that
don't.
we watched.
You can
that.
spoil it if that's the case. It's fine. I know a lot
Well,
of spoilers. but-
I don't know if I'm pretty sure the helmet gets destroyed.
So
Because,
there you go.
Django's?
Boba Fett like lures Mace Windu to this area. And
Yeah, I
has the
have-
helmet. Yeah.
That's such a fucking wild episode. He's like a 10-year-old kid trying to assassinate Mace Windu. It's actually a good one. So
Damn.
yeah.
Is it voiced by Sam Jackson?
No, but the guy's pretty good. He's pretty close.
Yeah.
He's doing his best.
Ultimate Alliance style.
But yeah, he's just getting all this Beskar steel and just building up his suit. And you are right. Like obviously that what I was going for, like the Great Purge. So obviously
Sorry,
There you
Taylor.
go.
That's
I
okay,
very
that's
much
okay.
sidetracked you.
At some point, I'm assuming during the Clone Wars, maybe or whenever. It's either Clone Wars or the Empire. I don't 100% know what this event entails, but yeah, an empire came in and just took all of the resource and just basically just really fucked with Mandalore and took a lot of the resources. I'm assuming, or something like that.
So this
all the
is an
best
event we
steel.
don't know about, right?
I'm assuming because I haven't heard
Okay.
of it before, unless it's in some book or something. If you know about it, comment and let us know, fans,
It's like
because that would be
you're talking to me,
awesome. But another interesting thing too, and I was wondering, okay, if that flashback sequence of when he's running, and obviously we're assuming his parents or whoever that get killed there, if that is related to the Purge, I don't know, but that sequence there sets up why he doesn't like droids and why he avoids the droid driver, because obviously that's flashback is Clone Wars era, and there's B-2 battle droids, there's droid gunships flying over, and they're attacking the village. So
Clearly, the droids kill his parents because when that first cruiser pulls up, he says no droids, and then he's constantly like dishing out dank insults to droids. And then at the end with Taika, he's like, "Oh, you're not too bad for a droid, actually."
Yeah.
So there's something happening with droids, or like I said, I think they just shot his
That's
parents in
interesting.
Crime Alley.
I definitely missed that part. Like Taylor had mentioned to me, because he was very generous and carpooled me here. But he was mentioning that like there were super battle droids in that flashback scene, and then it obviously makes sense why he wouldn't trust droids if they're the ones that murdered his family.
It was very brief. Again, I feel like we're gonna get more flashbacks in later
Yeah.
episodes and see more of it.
I hope so.
More like that though.
Yeah.
15 seconds of flashes.
Not all at once. It's like 2-second increments, and then it goes back to his helmet.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say because I have questions, but they more concerned with the ending. So I was gonna just get your guys' opinion on kind of the two side. Well, maybe the 3 side characters we met. We met Carl Weathers, who was like the bounty hunter, like giver, and then we met Nick Nolte, who was the Ugnaught, who's like riding the like
the blurg.
Oh, what the fuck is this saying?
I've spoken.
I've spoken.
That's my nickname.
I've spoken. It's great. Yeah, sorry. And
That
then
was
we
great.
also met briefly IG-11 / Taika Waititi as the bounty hunter robots. What do you think about those side characters? All introduced.
Well,
some sticking around, maybe some not.
What about the? I don't know if that's the one you mentioned, but like the Imperial guy.
I was gonna save him to talk about because I think he kind of has to do. I have questions about him, but
we can
it
talk
ties
about
with
him
the
after.
ending. Yeah,
We can talk about it.
yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you were missing him.
And Kirkland's like, look, he's missing characters.
Yeah, this guy doesn't even Star Wars.
Is he a real podcaster?
Where are your notes, Travis?
Yeah, he must be have a chemical
You
influence.
shouldn't watch this at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
So the first one, the dude in the cantina, right? That was
You can go any
Dude
order.
in
I'm
the
just throwing out
cantina.
characters.
the cantina guy. I don't know.
That's how I feel about him.
Yeah, it's
Cantina
like
guy.
I really don't have much to say. I just felt like he's very much like a quest giver. Another one, just
Yeah.
that's the guy you go to for bounties. I don't know.
I go to
like,
him if I want to learn how to golf, personally.
Are you anticipating that he'll have like a bigger role? I just feel
I
like
think
he's kind of
so.
okay.
I think he'll always report
I didn't get those
back.
vibes.
I think he'll always report back to him after something,
Okay.
or like with this package he finds. Obviously, I think he'd have to. I guess he'd bring it to Werner Herzog, but I'm wondering if I think he'll play another role. And plus, Carl Weathers is like a bigger actor. He was in the '80s,
Right.
so yeah.
And then sorry, what were the other two
Yeah,
that
the
you mentioned?
Ugnaught with Nick Nolte, the like, you know.
Oh yeah, he was fun.
Yeah.
I was suspicious that he might have been the bounty like when he first got there because I don't know. I felt like he kind of looks like a 50-year-old man, right? Like that was.
Effects looked great on him.
Oh,
in
it
my
did
opinion.
for sure.
A 50
Did you guys feel like the syncing on his voice was off, or was that just me? To me, it looked like there was like a 1 second delay between his mouth moving and the
What
words coming
speed
out.
were you watching this on?
I was watching it 1 time speed.
Fantastic. I didn't sense it, but Nick Nolte has a pretty loud voice, so maybe that's it. But
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
It's tough.
It
'cause
wasn't like all the time.
I was
but-
watching on my phone and there was some glare through the window, so
Nice.
Like
obviously
Calgary sun.
I'm just like all the droids in the flashback scene, so I probably should rewatch this on a big screen, but I definitely didn't notice that.
Okay.
And
that's fine.
then yeah,
I like that. I like that character. I thought it was a little strange that he just shows up there and he starts like, and there's like this training sequence. It just seemed a little strange, like pacing wise, I guess.
Yeah.
I would
But
agree.
I agree, yeah.
that was what I was mentioning in our non-spoilers of the music. That's that music that plays when they're riding around on those guar looking things was pretty awesome.
yeah,
That was my definitely highlight soundtrack wise.
yeah.
Mhm.
You just quickly
And even that
mentioned-
planet in general, just when he first arrives, or I guess it's probably the same planet, just a different area.
Yeah,
Yeah, like just the rock formations when he first arrived, and then even just like kind of the cracked land.
Well, yeah, I
afterwards.
thought it was really interesting because it seemed like a desert that we have here on Earth, but it's just very like I don't know, just giganticized. That's not a
Yeah.
word, but I'm gonna make it up
It's a
because
word.
it just seemed like a very like zoomed in version of it. But obviously, there's like big crevices that they have to cross.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was really unique and cool. Man,
Mhm.
Star Wars is just so great at like making these planets. I
Yeah,
love
and I think they did the CGI on those creatures was really really well done.
Totally.
Mhm.
You just quickly mentioned like the soundtrack part that stood out for you. I forgot to mention mine. When the Mandalorian has like that blue creature and on the ice, and then that like sea monster kind of like fucks up the dude on the very like shit box, like taxi
Very
cab, whatever
shitty.
you'd call it, kind of breaking down. But
Stay away from
ju-
the ice.
yeah,
or
just
whatever he says. Yeah.
yeah, just like the music that played from like the moment that the creature's kind of revealed, from the point the Mandalorian kind of like zaps it off there. I loved it. That was the one that kind of stood out for me for soundtrack wise. And then I already talked about that one character. What your guys' opinion?
Yeah. Anything on IG-11, the robot? 'Cause
IG-11.
I know you're Knights of the Old Republic guy, so it's kind
Yeah,
of
I really liked like that style of humor. It reminded me a bit of like the droid from I think Rogue One.
yeah.
Like
K2SO.
yeah, so it's kind of following that theme, and then obviously it worked for me on that movie, so it worked again on this one. He was kind of short lived. He didn't last too long, but I was mentioning it to Taylor again off cast, but like just his design on like the droid, like as an individual, I just thought it was really cool. Like how he's just like basically 360, like all around, like he's
Oh, yeah.
constantly just going around.
That action scene
yeah.
was great.
Oh yeah, I was joking to Taylor. I'm like, it makes you just think of like the droids from like the prequels on how fucking rigid and like shitty design they were. Like imagine having a full army of those guys that can just swing around. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
would fuck up everyone. But I'm like, man, those guys seem outdated. But obviously, again, it made me think like, okay, maybe it's because they came out like all those years ago, like obviously in the prequel, and then this movie set 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So maybe they just
Some
been
tech.
upgraded. Yeah, exactly. But I just thought his design was really interesting. Like he just seemed like a one man army, almost like a
Yeah,
Terminator type.
It's
character,
weird
right?
because that's totally true. Like it is later, but yet
Yeah.
it feels a lot of the times in these Star Wars movies like these droids are like old, like they're
Yeah,
dusty and
they always seem old,
nasty.
right?
It feels like they were made like 50 years ago or
Yeah.
something. But I liked the design of him too. I felt like he could be like General Grievous's nephew or something.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely down for that. The humor, it didn't. I don't think the humor really worked for me, but I still really liked that
Yeah.
scene. It was just like a very Western shootout kind of scene. I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of bugged me a bit is when he's like trying to hack into the door, and there's like for like 20 seconds straight, it felt like 30 dudes were just missing every single shot on him. And it's like, I mean, that happens in Star Wars all the time. Look at Stormtroopers, like they can't hit a single thing, even if it is standing still. It's even harder for them to hit something standing still. But it just seemed a little weird to me. But overall, I liked that scene. I thought it was fun.
I really like the reoccurring like self destruct going on. Yeah,
that bit
it
was
worked
got
for
me
me
every
Yeah.
time. yeah.
And then constantly Mandalorian's like, no, don't do that. He's like, okay. He just like he kept reassuring. It was like, okay, there's another plan. This isn't just
Yeah.
execute.
Oh, that's the thing. He would stop like right away when he was asking him like, okay, sure, I guess I won't self-destruct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked IG-11. It's definitely my favorite droid we've gotten so far. I liked all the tech humor, and obviously it's them writing as well. But just the responses he gave, very much like what's his name? Is it KJ-47 or something?
K2SO.
No. In Knights of the Republic.
Oh, HK.
HK-47.
Yeah.
So it was very much like that.
I feel like
where
it's the
it
name of a gun in Call of Duty.
yeah,
AK-47.
they're just obsessed with doing the mission and killing people, and they're very dry, and that's what this was. I don't think we've
Very
seen the
dry.
last of him. I think
Yeah,
he will.
that's what I was gonna ask.
I think he'll be reprogrammed, and he'll have like a little chip on his shoulder after Mandalorian, which I kind of hope. Or maybe the Mando takes him, reprograms him, but I think that he'll be after him. So that's fun. I loved the Ugnaught. I loved Nick Nolte. That was just a fun set. Those two moments were IG-11 and this were the ones that remind me of video games, of just like when he's having to like calm down this beast. That's such a video game moment of like you have to break your horse and Red
Yeah.
Dead, and you're like walking, you're whispering to. It's like this shouldn't work, but okay. And the other one was when Mando's heading to his mission, then all of a sudden IG-11 just breaks down and he's starting to shoot people. That reminded me of the video game as well. Of just when you're on a quest and then all of a sudden there's some other character, something's happening, and it's like, oh, this is getting in the way. So I loved all that. And Carl Weathers, I'll just be excited to see more of him. But I liked his little, just quick little back and forth of just like, he's like, I can only pay you half, but I can pay you in this. And it was
Yeah.
just like they're trying to wheel and deal and stuff. And the weird thing is, like, that's how he is maybe loyal to the Mandalorian, is because he got only half the earnings that was promised, but he still took it. And it's almost
Yeah.
like he took it just so he could get back to that base and have something to show for it. So I want to know what's going on there, because I thought he would have fight a little bit more to be like, why
Yeah.
only half? But he took it, and he's like, all right. So clearly, like, he's just motivated to get any income he can. I don't know. So I'm interested to see the dynamic
See, like
grow.
like that little like back and forth there. I feel like that actually is some good character building there, because it should, like, he easily could have been like, no, like, I'm taking all the money, like, I am the baddest motherfucker here, like, I am just bounty hunter, like, you should be scared of me, like, I'm taking all this money. But he's like, okay, yeah, no, that works for me. And it's not necessarily on the characters, but like, I just thought it was cool, like, talking about like the imperial currency and how they're not really using that anymore,
Yeah.
right? It's just again world building, and I just love that stuff. So
I was gonna say you make a good point about the bounty hunter thing, but usually like, the bounty hunters and the bounty hunter guild are they're pretty loyal and honorable,
Okay.
especially when they're commissioned to go and get their bounties. Like they'll do the job and everything, and it's not like anyone's fault that he's being shortchanged. Like it's imperial credits, like it's
the
still
economy.
currency, but it's the economy, fucking economy crashing. But what was the actor's name that played the blue guy again? Nick or what was his name?
No idea.
Because I thought like you were talking, isn't that the guy you were talking about?
no, Nick Nolte's the one.
He's
with,
the
with, like,
Ugnaught.
yeah,
Oh, he's not. Okay, then I can't remember who the guy. It was
the blue dude.
the blue dude was a certain.
He's a comedian
He's
actor.
Fishman.
Yeah.
It's familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was actually really funny, and I enjoyed like his scenes when he's interacting with the Mandalorian and everything, and like when they were flying in space, and he's like going down, and he's going through like the carbon freezing like
That was a fun setup
bounties.
to get him
Yeah,
in
and then
there.
you
Yeah.
see like the space toilet or whatever. That was pretty cool. Just a random thing in there just to answer questions that we've probably had, but we've never ever needed to like actually have an answer for. But it's just subtly put in the background. Like, do Star Wars characters go to the bathroom in space? And now we know they do.
Not often though. He's
not
like, I haven't
often.
gone since whatever the solstice.
Yeah, since the solstice.
And Life Day, he gave a Life Day shout out, so the Christmas special is officially canon.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing I that one line when he drops to that blue fish guy when he's like, I can pay you like double or triple, or and he's like, I can bring you in warm, I can bring you in cold. That's like the first thing I think he said throughout the entire like
Yeah.
5 minutes like opening sequence, and it was so good. That was all he needed to say.
I like that line.
And that just turns the character from that point forwards from being a what we just feel like a cold, empty bounty hunter to actually being a person who is, he's doing very like a very dirty kind of grungy job, but he has these layers to him, and we get to see those layers stacked with a bit of humor, a bit of loyalty, and other things he's doing, like supporting the foundlings, and then trying to learn how to ride the blurb.
It fleshes out the character, right? As opposed to like Boba Fett. Like, although he is a really cool character, you don't really like hear his side of the story. Like, obviously we know that his dad died in the prequels, but like he just kind of stands there and looks cool. Whereas this one, like he looks badass, but also like you feel, I don't know, like there's kind of a soft side to him. Like he's looking out for again, I forget their name. What are they called? The lost children.
Fondling?
The foundlings. Yes,
Foundling.
thank you. It's just like,
Foundlings.
I don't
You just
know.
call them orphans. That works.
that is an easier one.
The Waynes.
So I don't know. It just
The
fleshes out the
ones of the
character
world.
more, and it makes this main character someone that I want to follow for a series, not just like this guy that looks cool and I know he's going to be the exact same for 2 seasons or however many seasons we get for this show.
Yeah, which you'd have
Absolutely.
to do, because in a TV show, Star Wars hardcores would watch it, but eventually people would drop off
Yeah.
if there's just nothing going on, like unless it was an anthology show, but clearly
Totally.
this is not the case.
And like what you were saying in the spoiler-free zone, it's like this. Just off the first episode, it feels like a show that you don't necessarily have to be a Star Wars fan to watch.
Yeah.
It's not all about like the Jedi and the Force and all the meaning behind it. It's just like this is just a bounty hunter show, or like, I don't know,
it's a Western, space
Yeah.
Western. Yeah, I think they still need
Space
to do
Cowboy.
a bit more in depth, because like I said, I don't think all of it was flawless. He has a character or heart sort of deal, but they're like planting the seed. So I hope it's something that when you watch back, you go, okay, it was
Yeah.
leading to somewhere.
At the same time, I feel like it's the biggest show on Disney Plus right now, or at least like the new show. So if you're paying for Disney Plus, I think this is like a good justification to do so. Or yeah, because you could probably you've probably seen a lot of these movies that are on here anyway, just the older Marvel stuff or the other Star Wars stuff or just Disney stuff in general. But yeah, I think just the fact that this is kind of the biggest happening show on Disney Plus right now is enough justification for a lot of people who are paying for the app to check it out and be in the talk. And really, it's only like, when does this go until? This goes
7
until
weeks only, so it's
Isn't it December
it's the
27th?
last week of December.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's
think it might be even before
pretty
Christmas.
short. Feels like.
They might have done some
Oh,
episodes
yeah,
shifted.
Yeah,
Maybe.
do we get an episode this week?
Yeah,
on
Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll touch on. Yeah, you guys talked about IG-11, so yeah, I've been trying. I don't have any Black Series, Star Wars figurines.
no.
Travis has popped up with his Rey and his Kylo Ren from Force Awakens, very cool. But
Sorry, what do you call them? The Black Series?
Black Series figures?
Okay.
Um,
What is that supposed to? For
so it's
someone-
like they're like special edition Star Wars action figures.
Why are they special?
Yeah.
It's just the
special?
run,
Because
the
they tell us.
Black Series run,
'Cause
basically.
they tell us
So
it's-
they're just a really nice, quality print $30 action figure. And
To me, they just seem like a regular action figure. Which
yeah.
is, there's
well,
nothing wrong with
Black
that.
Series spreads out.
You're making
to
it sound like it's like
I,
holy or something.
I bought these because I had the Force Awakens hype. I didn't have no tail like, oh, the Black Series. I was like, oh, I like Rey and Kylo a lot. And the reason I got Rey, I like her a lot, but she comes with BB-8, so that's
That's a nice
That's like a
BB-8,
2-in-1.
Basically,
I
Black
will
Series,
open her eventually here.
Black Series entails like everything under like that umbrella. So like I have a like one of those $200 lightsabers. It's a Black Series lightsaber, and then you can get like actual replica helmets, like Poe Dameron's helmet, like Kylo Ren's Black Series helmet. These are all part of basically the Black Series brand, you know.
That works so good.
I'm excited to know what that sounds like with
Probably
audio.
nothing.
But yeah, it's just so anyways, I managed to track down an IG-11, and already like the Mandalorian Black Series figures, you can't find them. Like the Mandalorian himself, he's priced at least like $60 to $70, and when you pair him with IG-11, it's over
Jesus.
$100. And you add any other extra characters to that, it gets even more
Don't
expensive.
I
buy
want
it.
your first child.
So the only character I managed to find at Toys R Us an IG-11. I was like, you know what? I'll buy it. It's on sale too. I didn't even pay the full
And he's
price.
dead.
Yeah, but you know what? If this is the only time that we get to have him, I think, you know, he had a great scene. And I think the fact
He had a
that
great run.
he had a great
He
run.
had a good run.
I will say that I feel like to have a toy of a character that popped off in the premiere episode of a series that has already a second season confirmed for it. I
Which
think
he's
that's
not
awesome.
to be in because he's dead.
Well, that's okay. He's just he's a limited character because that means the toys will be gone
So
and you
you're-
won't get
so
more
you
action figures
paid
for him.
$30-something for that?
Less.
Huh?
I got it on sale,
For how
He's-
much?
like 20 something.
29.
$29.99.
Yeah, exactly.
So
He's just
compare
trying
that
to
to like the
justify
price
it.
of Disney Plus. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's gonna take you like 4 months to pay that off.
That's a third of Disney.
I'll
Plus.
even throw in the 7-day trial just to give you a little benefit of the doubt. That's like significantly more expensive than the show, and he's only in one episode of that show, and that's one show. Of the
That's
whole
an
thing.
Yeah.
interesting take.
But you know what? I'm actually
know
really
what?
happy with my purchase. But here's the thing.
No,
Here's
it's
the thing.
fine.
So I got
I'm just
him in the
yanking your
hopes.
chain, man.
I
I don't
know.
care. You buy whatever you want.
I got him in the hopes.
I spent
of,
like hundreds of dollars on Amiibo, so I have
Amiibos? Respect.
no claim.
I got IG-11 in the hopes of getting a Mandalorian action figure, and I got into a bidding war on eBay.
Is this the fucking like Jingle All the Way guy where he's selling like the foreign Santa Claus?
Wait, do people still
toys?
use eBay in
Oh, they do.
2019?
Taylor
I got
does.
into a ridiculous bidding war. It got heated, got very
Are
hectic.
you guys messaging each other?
Back
down, bitch.
What's the
I-
price? What's the price point at for this figure?
Well, it ended. I lost, but the bid got up
What?
to like $60, and that wasn't including
Oh.
the shipping.
I thought
Shipping
you said it was
additional
like
$20.
$70 to $80 for the thing alone.
Well, this guy started the bidding at $15,
What
and
the
so
fuck?
I bid on that, and I was okay. I'll
This
start
guy
with
is
that.
not a good businessman. He didn't
And
make any money on this. transaction.
I owned I had the highest bid for about 6 days, and then it was the 7th day. There were 30 fucking bids on this thing.
Next question: when did this happen? Because this show came out today.
This happened this week.
Okay, I'm so confused right now.
I'm sorry. The reason why I asked because I thought the black the Black Series was like a you
Yeah,
know,
well,
like,
how did we get on this fucking?
The reason I
train of
asked
thought?
was because I thought it was like the Skywalker saga or something. Like it's like the era that they're in. It's like the Black era.
Oh no,
I
it's
see.
just the
That's
run,
why I
like-
had to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Sorry. I
marketing-
apologize.
it's a marketing
I
thing.
apologize, listeners.
That being said, I'm not out of the fight yet for a Mandalorian figure. But
Not out of
anyways,
the fight.
IG-11, I think, you know, the character was absolutely amazing. You know, for the longest time, I think people thought, you know, this is IG-88 popping into the series here. And I'm glad that it's not. I'm glad it's showcasing, you know, another assassin droid. And
There's no difference between the two. This could have been IG-88 and nothing would have changed. And you being like, oh, I'm so glad it wasn't him. Or I'm so glad
no,
it's different.
I feel
They're
like
the
it-
exact
it-
same droid.
I don't know. To me, as a Star Wars fan, it feels different. You know, it's like to me, I look at the clowns as being all different characters. You look
Oh,
at them as just
God.
clones.
Yeah, they are just clones. They're pieces of shit.
Oh no!
Who you can literally have an old man in his drapes. They execute Order 66 and they just turn on a dime. Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not in the movies. Right, we're in the movies. Yeah, I didn't think so. Fuck the Clone
I could
Wars.
go into deep lore, but I'm not gonna pull that card.
Do,
No,
we
right
have,
now.
do we have any? Do we have anything to hit other than I know we got the two big things, but anything else? Because you want to say that to the end, Taylor. You want to string our fans along.
Is one of the big things that dude with the
guarant-
pendant,
is what the huh?
the dude with the stormtroopers, and he was
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
I
wearing
think
an
he's-
imperial pendant.
Yeah, he's tied to the ending. I guarantee though, if like Darth Maul appeared in this, that'd be the first thing.
I
Taylor would
like
talk about.
I like his ship, the Mandalorian
Yeah, the Razor's
ship.
Edge.
That was
Razor's
probably
Edge.
in the
Isn't it
trailers.
Razor's
but I
Crest?
like it.
Razor's Crest. Yep, Razor's Edge is
The
a
Razor's
razor.
crust.
Razor's crust.
Yeah.
That's
his
juicy.
dad's.
The razor's
Wait, so
filled
Razor
crust.
is it like Razor scooters? It's like the same brand.
Yeah,
It is.
part of the Black
okay, cool.
Series.
For the Black Series.
My Black Series scooter.
You got on a bidding war.
Yeah, forgot this for 13
Yeah,
cents.
$13 got this
Yeah.
ship. That would be a sick Lego ship. I have the Django one or Boba one, whatever the fuck it is, somewhere.
Slave
I
one.
guarantee.
Somewhere in a box, and it does not stay intact because it's one of the most poorly designed ships of all time. But it's, cool.
I guarantee it'll be a Lego set at some point.
Yeah.
Lego just does all that.
Okay, let's talk about the ending. And
How many
the-
pieces?
How many pieces? At least 2,000. I just want to shout out one thing. The Kubaz taxi service, that species was the same guy that led the Imperials in A New Hope to the Millennium Falcon, following and stalking Luke.
Is the guy you're describing the guy that got eaten on the ice?
Oh,
no,
it was the dude with the
Kubaz,
flute, right?
Oh, that guy, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta be a little more self-explanatory.
Kind of looks like an anteater.
Like an
But, like,
alligator,
standing
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Anteater.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy. Okay.
Yeah.
He was
So-
a villain in Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, he was a villain. I remember that. Holy shit.
Shout out to Lego Star Wars.
Great game.
The best Lego game.
He gets
still.
off if he pulls little tentacles things. But anyway, so he gets this puck, and it's said, "Oh, you gotta go," or "There's no puck. You gotta go have a meeting to find out this big bounty. They're willing to pay lots of money." It's a great Werner Herzog. It's him. He's an Imperial leader with a bunch of stormtroopers who are looking gross and muddy. And then he gets sent off. So we talked about the mission, but then the end result, they got to pick up this package. Werner Herzog says alive or dead, but then that scientist, whatever guy,
Dr. Pershing.
Doctor, how do you know his
Pershing.
name already?
I do my research.
Wow. Did they say it in the show though?
Yes, he introduces him.
Okay. But the doctor says no. We need
Dr.
that.
Pershing.
We need that a lot. Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Good thing you looked that up. So we need it alive. So who knows what's going on there? And then I don't know. Do we want to talk about that first, or do we want to talk about what he finds? I don't know.
What does he
entwined.
say? I'm being pragmatic. What does pragmatic exactly mean? Does anyone have a
Like
definition?
realistic, right? Because you can't necessarily
It's risky.
they'd rather have the corpse than nothing at all
Yeah.
Gotcha.
in the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Like if meaning the hit stays alive, it got away, then don't do that. So. And then, well, I'm just going to say it because we're bouncing around. And then at the end, the IG-88 or IG-11 and Mando, they take everyone out. There's some fun comedy I like there. They go in there. There's something floating. They take the top off, and it's a baby Yoda. We don't know this species. We never have known it. But it's a baby sort of Yoda, and then IG-88 goes to kill it, and then Mando kills him. Obviously, you could say, oh, it's for the money, but to me, it was also showing he's somewhat, he has a little bit of a heart because he, touches fingers with the baby at the end. So,
ET style.
yeah, and I don't know where Taylor's going to go. I don't know why you're disputing this. I think this is 100% a Force-sensitive baby already.
Oh, it is. I'm not denying it.
You did last night to me.
No, you said is the baby using the Force to levitate that thing, and I think I can't confirm it is. I think it's just a repulsor just kind of hovering.
I took it as it's Force-sensitive, and things around the Force are always fucking floating around. So, and that's what
Shout outs to the Force.
that's what's very interesting to me is just who's running this, other than Werner Herzog, and we know Giancarlo Esposito's coming in, but who's running this little Empire, unit, and why do they want this if the baby is Force sensitive? Force babies, by the way.
Force babies.
It's 50 years old, I guess, but if this Force creature, why do they want
Well,
it? And it opens up, I think it was a perfect way to end the episode because it opens
Yeah,
up
it
so
has
many
a lot of questions.
possibilities.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, the way that I took it, again, I want to hear all your guys' theories, but the way I took it was, obviously we know how powerful Yoda was, and then we're assuming that, I guess we don't have to assume, it's the exact same, species of what Yoda is, and then
Avocado.
the
Yeah.
avocados, that's what they are, confirmed from Dylan Muss. But obviously very high potential for Force capabilities, and I feel like they're just, the Empire is looking for its new emperor, right? The new just unlimited potential of dark side Force or just Force in general that they can just I don't know, use as a weapon.
That's a spicy
again,
theory.
that's what I took on the moment.
Mm-hmm. To counter that,
Oh,
the
You're
obviously-
wrong.
Here we go,
You're
yeah.
wrong.
take
Obviously,
this.
Cannot be
And
more
whoop
wrong.
ass on you, Kirkland.
this Imperial leader was willing to accept it as dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Now
I
you
mean,
have
can I rebuttal?
yes.
So if we can't have it on our side, let's just get rid of
Yeah.
it so the good guys can't have it.
Boom.
True, but then it also
Counter.
sets up the fact. Okay, now was IG-11 working for the same
See-
person because he was sent there with orders only to kill?
Exactly.
And the Mandalorian had
That's what
orders
I was gonna
to
ask.
Retrieve.
Because I wasn't sure if I had missed something where, because I again, I guess you just answered my question that I hadn't asked, was just I was going to, why was he just dead set on killing it when obviously we know that the Mandalorian try and get it alive, or get it killed. So are you suggesting that possibly they were hired by two different
It's possible
parties?
I think
there
so.
is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously many people have tried to get there
Yeah.
that we know of. So that alone says, okay, there have been many parties that are probably aware of this
Yeah.
and trying to get into there. Yeah, it's just it definitely opens up so many doors. It's a great way to end the episode. I've taken to calling it Yodo. I think I told you this.
I thought you called it Yobo.
No, Yodo.
Sorry.
A combination of Yoda and Gizmo because he looks like a Mogwai.
Mogwai.
Yeah,
Mogwai.
Mogwai. Thank you. But
What's a Mogwai? I'm sorry, I got
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you know the classic 80s movie Gremlins?
It's a classic.
I know the
movie.
Furbies.
Gizmo, yeah, he's kind of referring to like it looks like a mix of that. I think it still just looks like a baby Yoda, but I digress.
Yodo.
Yoda,
Sure.
Yoda kind of looks like
Hashtag
him.
Yodo. Hashtag
Yodo.
Yodo.
I'm
Geek first.
sticking with
happen.
Dylan's avocados. Yeah, I'm very interested
Love
to see
avocado.
what it's gonna do because me and Taylor, I think a while back did a predictions episode. And I predicted there'd be a Jedi or Force user eventually, but I didn't think we'd be getting it episode 1. So I think that before was just like, okay, the Empire is still around doing criminal stuff, but now that there's a Force user, and especially they had this all marketing, must have a big role to play in it. I'm not sure too, like that shows that this thing's already 50 years old and it's not been around in the movies, so I'd imagine it's going to have to die at some point or go away. But just the fact that, okay, Luke is running around. At this point, it was just Luke and Leia. This is when he was maybe starting to look for other Jedis, we would assume, right? So it's like, I don't know if it's going to, I'm not saying we're going to get like a DH Mark Hamill, but it's just, we're playing in that stuff. And that's what I like about when we don't do prequels to characters we already know, like a Han Solo, because this is like, even this Yoda, it's not like a baby. If this was the Baby Yoda prequel show, then it'd be like, okay, we know his story. But this is like, I love that it's in an area we know, but it's about a situation we have no idea what's going on. And this could be galaxies away, nothing to do with exactly our characters right now, Luke, Leia, and Han. But I'm very interested to see where it goes, and especially with episode 2. I think we won't get answers for a while, but this is gonna be. It's a hot commodity, this baby, right? So I know it's 50 years old, but I thought it was such a good way because my mind was just running of what's going on. And like even then, how do they know this baby has the Force? And that's why I thought maybe it was floating itself because it's shown signs of that. But that's what I mean, like how they know it, how they hunt it down.
At
who's
this
doing
point,
that.
I don't think it's the Force that's got their attention. I think it's the fact that it's a baby and it's 50 years old. I think that's, again, why Dr. Pershing's interested.
But I don't think so, because if Yoda didn't have the Force, that would just be his regular species aging, right?
True,
So
but I mean, obviously Yoda's been out of play for, decades at
He's-
this point.
yeah, and he died.
And he died. So I mean, obviously, his species is already a mystery to begin with. So obviously, the Empire and many others, they don't know of the species or where they came from, and so they want to examine, they want to study it. Maybe
You know
they
two
are.
of them were Jedi though, Yoda
Two of
and
them,
Yaddle.
Yoda and Yaddle, yeah, and Yaddle obviously passed somewhere before Attack of the Clones,
Obviously.
and
Obviously.
they just, I don't know. Okay, here's an interesting counter for you, because
It's getting spicy. I like it.
everyone is now saying like, yes, we have your baby Yoda, or Yoda just living in this time period now, and he's 50 years old, or she's 50 years old. And the interesting thing is, now I took a look at the years, and I went back to see exactly when Yoda was born. And now Yoda was born actually the same year as Anakin Skywalker, about 10 years before Phantom Menace, which I think is super
Wait
interesting.
a second, you mean this baby?
This
yeah,
baby,
You
yeah.
don't call it baby. Just call it the baby, because when you
Yeah.
you made it sound like
Yodo.
right.
It's
well,
risky.
just
I would
call
say
the
it's
don't call it
avocado.
Yoda.
Do
Fine,
the
I'll do
avocado.
the being, as it was called in the show.
I guess, but yeah, you made it sound like Yoda was born at the same time as Anakin Skywalker.
That's what I
I'm
took
like,
it.
No, that's impossible. He was an old man when
It's
he
not
was Anakin
true.
Skywalker.
It's impossible.
Well, because people are you throwing up the age theory of that it's a clone of Yoda? Have you heard
No,
this one?
I don't buy into that, and I think
I'll
people
tell my theory
people
after.
need to just
Hey, Ray
calm
might be a
down.
clone. You shut your dirty mouth.
People need to calm down with the
People-
clone theories, because everyone's like, you
Calm
see a
down
character.
with your clone theories,
Oh,
you fucking
calm,
nerds.
calm down. It's not like each franchise has had cloning. There was a fucking movie called Attack of the Clones. No wonder why
Well,
fans are like, it's a clone.
I
It's
know,
a clone.
everyone just resorts to
Clone
clones.
Wars.
It's like, you don't have to resort to clones all the time.
Because my theory before you go is apparently it's something like they said it's 50 years old, and 50 years old is when Obi-Wan went to El Camino. Went to
Camino.
Camino with a cloning planet, so they're saying maybe it's a clone of Yoda. So.
Cloning planet.
But if it was, I don't think it is, but if it was, that would make sense why the Empire would want that little baby.
Yes,
if
it
was
would.
just a full-on clone of Yoda.
It would, because I mean, we've come to learn that, especially Chancellor or Emperor Palpatine,
He was a chancellor.
He was a Chancellor. He focused a lot of his attention into recruiting Force-sensitive children and creating like Sith Inquisitors and like obviously Sith assassins.
Sith Inquisitors.
He was very
Jedi
into
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. He
Yeah.
was very into that
So
kind of.
Palpatine's gonna be in this show?
No, he was very into that that kind of
He had a cloning fetish.
way of
He
life.
liked
He
that.
loved fucking
Yeah.
clones, fucking
He
all
loved
over
fucking
it.
clones, or he loved he loved fucking
A little
clones?
both, a little bit of both.
Give me a clone of myself.
But yeah, so I just
Clone has no idea what's going on. He's naked in this room. Palpatine's force lightning. Ooh, ah.
I know every hole.
Yeah. Come here, avocado.
But yeah, I just think it's very awesome the fact that he was born at that time of the Phantom Menace, and obviously we had Yaddle, we had Yoda, but it just makes me wonder, okay, how are they going to explain this in the story? Like what, obviously, to me, Dave Filoni
Okay,
and
I have
Jon
a quick
Favreau-
question.
Yeah.
Who's Yaddle? Tell me who's
Yaddle?
Yaddle.
It's a female version of Yoda who is in Phantom Menace.
Also a Jedi on the council.
Yes.
Okay.
She was a major character. She was just one of these background, like, oh, she's a Jedi, same species.
Right.
They've never named Yoda's species. That's why we keep saying that. And those are the only two we know of.
At this point, for my sake of me not getting confused, can you not call this baby Yodo?
No, I'm not
Yeah.
anymore.
Please don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Thank
not.
you.
I will on my off time.
I got another question.
Sure.
So on
Hey, Madison.
the other Yoda, Yodel, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yaddle.
Yaddle's the female.
Yaddle.
Yeah.
So do you ever see it, or is it like one
You
of the
see her.
one of the
Yeah.
projections though?
You see
No,
her.
she's there.
She's
there.
actually there.
She's there for the da-da moment at Phantom
Really?
Menace. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is she wearing
and then the
lipstick? Is
Jedi
that how you know she's a
Council-
female?
Oh yeah.
No,
Okay.
A lot of
She's in the Jedi Council chambers as well when Anakin's in there, I believe.
George told me. Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. Yeah.
She's like Lucas.
But she wasn't in Attack of the Clones, so didn't she die in between or something?
Plaything.
Jesus.
Or isn't she in some Attack of the Clones
In
episodes we
the-
covered?
I don't think so. In the Legends novels, basically she died sacrificing herself to save Anakin Skywalker.
Nice. Everyone fucking made a big mistake there.
But that is
Sacrifice
scrapped.
yourself for Anakin Skywalker, the
That
child
fucking
killer.
rat tail.
yeah.
That story is scrapped, so we
Imagine
don't know
that.
what happens.
Imagine being like Force Heaven or whatever, and you're like, I sacrificed myself for this guy, and then you see what Anakin Skywalker like. I
He's over in the
died.
corner just
You live your
smoking
whole
pot.
life.
Yeah.
You live your whole life, and it ends for that, and you're just like, man.
Now I know how
Come
parents
on.
of strippers must feel. I'm joking. I'm sure you're fine.
It's a solid profession.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's legal. Sex work is real work.
Taylor made lots of money with it.
Hashtag.
Lots. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where they're gonna go. Yeah, obviously with this force sensitive being, because when you look at the grand scale, like Yoda was 900 years old, and you look at
Oh,
how this
shit.
is obviously
That's
still
old.
this being is obviously still a baby, 50 years old. You have to think, okay, when does it reach maturity on the great scale things? Because Yoda would probably still have been. I mean, assuming 900 years old is very old, like at what point does this baby stop looking like a baby after 50 years? Is it like 200 years and then they're
There's
like,
a
young
teenager
teen?
stage
And
where he's just
who-
like talking back and being a dick.
Like Baby Groot or Teenage
Baby, yeah,
Groot.
teenage
yeah.
Groot, exactly.
And
He's like
who-
a Benjamin Button style Yoda.
And
Fuck off, you will.
wow. And the thing is, like the aliens that they all killed to get in there, they're looking like pretty criminal-like. So they could have just been hired to protect this baby. But my whole thing is, who was watching and raising this baby as well, right?
Well, that's just it. The baby was obviously contained in the support, and that was a full army. It wasn't just like
Oh,
a
yeah.
small band. So obviously, who was
small
paying
band.
to
Well,
support them?
Who shot
Again,
first?
this is just another like take that I had on it. I was taking that possibly they were just like almost like, I guess they're not humans, but like trafficking that thing, just like selling it or
okay,
something.
yeah.
That was
they
that
know
was-
its worth.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, I didn't realize like the possibility that that thing actually is 50 years old. I thought they just had some bad intel. I'm like, oh, that's just an infant. But then again, of course, you take into account that their lifespan is like 900 years, so it makes sense why it would be 50. I was totally like the Mandalorian though. I'm like 50 years old. That's not right. But obviously, I'm not.
You don't see many
obvi-
Yodas walking around.
Exactly. I'm not woke, so sorry.
Not woke.
No.
Carry on.
Yeah,
What's your like Taylor certified theory? You've read someone online. What's yours?
my certified theory?
Yeah.
This is obviously to me, I would say it's not a clone. It's just another one of those species that was born at that time. The thing I don't understand, and I'm hoping that Dave Filoni will carefully articulate and cover, will be why this species or this other, Yoda species was not looked at and like found at the time of Yaddle and Yoda. Why was it just kind of pushed to the side and left to kind of go off and just be an infant on
It's
its
not
own?
just Dave Filoni's job. You give him a little too much credit. It's Jon Favreau's fucking show.
I
by the way.
know, but I just
He's the director.
the cowboy hat's right there.
Just because he directed one fucking episode doesn't mean it's all him. Same thing with Kathleen Kennedy. She's the one that produced and greenlit
At
this
the end
show,
of our
so-
final review, I'll be like, Jon Favreau, Kathleen, round of fucking applause.
If anyone liked this and I was like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy, she's the one when Jon Favreau had the idea. She
Fucking
went,
playing
hey,
Beat Saber over there. What's going on?
she's so the sex worker version. She's the one that said, "Hey, Jon Favreau, you should team up with Dave Filoni, and you guys should help make the show." So I don't want to hear any complaint. If you like the fucking Mandalorian, I don't want to see one single post.
When I
about
say I
which
like
Kathy.
Dave Filoni, it spreads to everybody.
You didn't say that. You're like, I really hope Dave Filoni
beginning of
handles this
this-
thing that's not his own
At
show.
the beginning of this review, I shouted out.
No, you didn't.
I shouted out Jon Favreau,
Yeah, but not Kathleen Kennedy, who's also the producer.
and
of
I was
this.
warming up to saying that.
Oh yeah, fuck off.
But no, I just think that I'm hoping that the story writers can
Oh.
probably flush out properly how and why this character wasn't addressed. Obviously, it wasn't addressed because it didn't go with the story, but just how they gonna.
Well, it's just a baby. It
add
didn't
it.
need to be addressed. It was just some baby somewhere.
I know, but this species is probably the most powerful light side force users in the galaxy that we know of,
Well,
and
maybe
I
that's
feel
why
like
it's hidden away.
that's something that needs to be addressed. It's very important, and the fact that you introduce a baby infant of the species when there were only 2 in existence, there has
Oh.
to be a good reason why.
I figured it out. So you
I know
said
what
it
I
was
was
born
gonna say.
around Anakin Skywalker time, right? So is this a possible Yoda Shmi baby?
Oh yeah,
And this is
Yes.
another Skywalker, and then this is Rey's father.
Rey's father.
You're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
talking about the avocado, right?
Yeah, the avocado.
Not only is
baby,
it
yeah.
possible, but it's likely. I
Yeah,
would say.
Shmi. It's
When in doubt, Shmi.
yeah. That's wait. Was he born during Anakin or after Anakin? Because could this be Qui-Gon's kid?
From what my
So
estimation,
fucking
it's just
confused right now.
my estimation is just before.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
take into account when Qui-Gon's reporting that Anakin's midichlorian count is higher than Master Yoda, maybe Yoda wanted to pop over there and you know.
Yeah, I'll check out for himself. Oh, get that Shmi juice that Dylan was talking about.
Shmi juice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. You guys got any other more thoughts on the avocado?
I don't. I'm gonna keep it simple. Call a spade a spade. I don't have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think it as a show and like ending of a first episode. I think it's great because it leaves it really open, and there is some questions that could be answered right away. Like I don't know anything about this race other than Yoda. Forgot that Yaddle, fucking Yodelani, whatever the fuck his name is. Forgot this other character has been in a movie. So yeah, like you have there's things you could go on if you have more information like that, and I think even like. The fact that this robot IG-88, IG-84, whatever it's called, was sent to kill this baby. Like I don't know what organization. Maybe there's like an organization you could trace that back to, like
Yeah.
who would send or who would make these robots to send them out and take out targets, or maybe that was just done for this case because this is a special case. Don't know. I have no information on that. But as the ending of this first episode, it's a great hook because there's so many questions of. What is the Mandalorian? What is he going to do with this baby? As you said, there's kind of like the ambiguity there. Why did he kill the robot? Did he kill the robot instantly so that to save the baby for the bounty, or was it like an ethical thing?
Yeah.
And I think even like, the fuck is the baby doing there? Just
Yeah,
chilling in this
exactly.
building
Yeah.
alone, locked up,
Yeah.
no one else there. Like, is the baby just surviving on its own? I'm not sure. Like, there's a bunch of questions there, and I'm definitely curious to see where it goes because it's I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird storyline.
Yeah.
So.
It's not what I expected, and I got to applaud them for that, for not showing any like baby
Yeah.
avocado in the marketing. Because I was just expecting he was gonna pick up some target and bring it, like just some guy,
Totally.
some lady. But just the fact that it was already a baby, but then it's like a species we know could have the force it's looking
Right.
like. So it's like. I applaud them for holding back because you could have easily shown that like like it's gonna go around. That toy is gonna be super hot next year, baby.
Black Series toy.
That of the avocado,
Yeah.
100%.
They're
Yeah,
just selling like old avocados.
yeah. Taylor's gonna be bidding on.
This is a Disney avocado. It has Watto's face on it.
But I got to give them that because we always say sometimes trailers can show too much. I like that that gives me hope that we still have 7 episodes left, and that gives me hope we may have not seen some other fun reveals
Right.
and whatnot.
Totally.
So, yeah.
As for the Force aspect of it, I mean, I'm sure that'll tie into it, but I think I'm right now on Team Taylor in terms of it being thrusters that's keeping that baby up. I don't think it's Force power. But maybe this is like a Jack like Incredible style baby where it's just like all this potential, and who knows, maybe that's just keeping it afloat. But I'm just curious what the fuck that baby's doing in that room alone in this like western town,
Yeah.
like this really weird place. Like I wonder how it got there,
I'll just jump in there and say that I think it's thrusters as well. Quick off the bat. And then for my theory wise,
Team Thruster.
I got a question for you, Taylor, or I guess everyone.
Yeah.
Wow, fuck us over here.
To be, I don't
You guys
blame
don't
him.
have paper. That's yellow.
Yeah,
We
I
go
don't
for
blame
that.
him. I'm a Star Wars not nerd, Star Wars casual over here.
I have 2 Star Wars shows.
So the thing with the Force is that there always has to be balance, right? When the good side is too strong,
rule of
there's
two.
always the
Fuck
dark
the
side
rule
that
of
has to
two.
come in and like balance it out. So you're saying that this baby would have been born same time as Anakin, and then like was there balance at that time? I feel like there's a lot more like light side of the Force in that because there's
Well,
just
you-
so
you-
many more Jedi,
You have to
right?
take into account the fact that, canonly speaking, Darth
Canonly.
Sidious created Anakin out of the Force in Shmi, right? So that is a lot of dark side
That's what she
energy
says.
and dark side Force. That's just Jesus. That's just emanating and
So-
creating, and that technically
all good.
there's a theory on that.
So
too.
is there like is it set in stone like Anakin was just destined to be an evil person or like he obviously was working with the Jedi and he had light
all
powers
that
but
stuff.
but or is that just like out the window like since birth he was destined to be a dark side wielder?
That is, me and Travis have gotten into a lot of debates on that, and for me
I've won them
personally,
all.
I'm gonna say it's up to interpretation because
Okay.
there's comic strips about it, and there's articles that say, if he was trained by Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon never died,
Yeah.
that Anakin and Qui-Gon share a very similar belief structure, and that Qui-Gon could have helped him grow to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
And not face the trials that he did that Obi-Wan put in his way.
I don't
and
trust
the
you
Council
inciting
put in
an
his way.
article for this information. I will say.
I
Fair
don't
enough.
think it's he was destined to be ill. I just think it's like this is a more of a comparison. But if someone was high on meth while they were giving labor, that baby would have meth, right?
Yeah.
Eventually they could be weaned off it, but they'd go through like a lot of withdrawals. That's the thing that he just had a Palpatine there constantly giving him meth and being like, oh, you can't trust Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
you can't trust the Council. So I don't think he was destined to be bad, but I think he was pushed in a certain direction, and he didn't do a U-turn. He just decided to slaughter
So
children.
it would be an uphill battle for him to go back to the good side.
I think so.
Okay.
I like not an uphill battle, but I think by the time I get to him choking out Padme, it's an uphill battle. I think
Yeah.
it just the further he goes, the steeper the deeper he goes, the longer that climb up is.
Yeah,
you know?
so-
And that's why they kill him off in Return of the Jedi because he was just
Well,
go to
the
prison.
reason why I asked that question was because like if someone's just destined to be or not necessarily destined but it would be an uphill battle for them to go to the other side. If there's a lot of like light side users at the time that he was born, does that just mean that he's more dark aligned from the very get-go and then it's just
I would
easier for him to
say
go to the dark
you
side?
could argue that with Kylo.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. It's hard to say. I feel like his destiny was just it was unwritten. I feel like obviously his best friend was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and even then, like in the Clone Wars, you learn like there's certain things and lies that unfold, and even the Council, the people that he's supposed to trust the most with his life, push him away and turn him. And then who is
He's
there
a
to
piece of shit.
Well, who's there to take him in and listen to him? It's Chancellor Palpatine, who listens to him and consuls him and all this stuff, and then that again helps tempt him over. And again, when you look at Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine, when he confesses that he is a Sith Lord to Anakin, you can still see that even Palpatine is nervous and unsure of what's going to happen. He's confident in his decision, but it was a very bold play because he's hoping that Anakin is going to do what he wants it to do, like take him into the Council, report him or whatever. But again, for all he know, Anakin could have turned on him and could have, because he did pull out his lightsaber and
Well, I'm sure some people might argue that it's just like him being such a powerful Sith Lord that it's just like he knew the outcome, like it was preordained.
He did, and that's something that he, one of his many, the Palpatine powers is he likes to have contingencies for his contingencies, and he likes to boast and brag that he knows how things are going to go, and that'll be interesting in Rise of Skywalker, how that's going to tie in, obviously.
Well, I guess that's kind of countered by Return of the Jedi because he thought that, like, he didn't know Darth Vader was gonna fuck him up and stab him in the back.
He didn't.
And George Lucas confirmed that he didn't fake his fight with Mace Windu. Mace Windu beat him in the fight. So that was Mace Windu kicked his ass.
Well, like the main reason why I asked all those questions is because if the dark side, or
where are you
if
going, counselor?
if the light side was very, very strong at the birth of this creature, of this avocado, is it just saying that he's light side or dark side? And then I guess from what we've been talking about, it's not necessarily preordained. Like he's not meant to be a light person or a dark person. I don't know why I said person. Dark side user, light side user.
I think you could look at it as because even in Last Jedi, you learn they focus heavily on the fact that darkness is rising and light to meet it. The Force needs to be in balance in that sort of way. And now you look at the fact that Palpatine is using a lot of dark Force power to create life. Now that life may be good, may be bad, but the energy that's being concentrated is dark. It's from Palpatine, whatever he's doing. And then you could say, and there are theories out there now saying, okay, that this avocado, sure, was created in response to that. There's the Force balancing itself out.
See, that was like a very like C grade like theory that I was kind of having, whereas again, I thought that the light side was like the dominant in the like era that this thing was created. So if we think about the Imperials, who we're just gonna call them bad guys, right? That's what they are. They're wanting this creature alive. Is that because from his birth he was mostly a dark side aligned character? But I don't know. That like I said, it's very C grade.
Because they seem like they're pretty at the like bottom of the barrel as far as like Imperials go.
Okay.
But again, you could say like the Force working to bring balance in this sense. The Mandalorian. Here's balance at displayed for us to see. IG-11 was going to kill this thing, and obviously the Mandalorian stopped him.
Yeah.
Now that is obviously the Force trying to work away and bring balance. In
I guess
some
the
shape
Force
or form.
is intertwined with everyone, even though there aren't necessarily a lot of Jedis in this.
Well, it is. I mean, it's like how they say in Last Jedi. It's like the Force. It's and even Empire Strikes Back. It flows through everything. Between us, the rock, the tree. You die. It's death and decay that grows and brings in new life that dies, and it just is a cycle of life, and it is a balance.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Yeah. I was diving hard on that.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. That was.
Dylan, what's your
and
theory?
then quickly.
No comment.
He's saving that for next episode.
Yeah,
Overall-
I'm making you guys wait.
Overall, I absolutely love the ending of this episode. It just got me wanting that next episode just that much harder because
The credits are nice.
so many questions. Right. I was not expecting a avocado to make an appearance in this.
Only
in
a
this
few more
entire
days,
series.
too, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I will say, fun fact, this show
fact.
time period happening wise is taking place around just before Battle of Jakku or shortly after. It's within the 5-year mark. This show is 5 years, Battle of Jakku is 5 years, and that's when the Battle of Jakku is like, I think, bigger than the Battle of Endor, and that's when the Empire really got their ass handed to them.
All that matters is how is Ben Solo around yet? Or is he still
Benjamin.
just a sparkle in his dad's eye?
Oh, he's a sparkle.
Is
He's
he? So
sparkling up
still-
there.
Okay, so he's not alive yet. He's not a Force baby.
You look like you're going to say something, Kirkland.
Yeah, Battle of Jakku. That's Force Awakens, right?
That's,
and
the
then
planet Ray's on.
so
yeah.
does that mean 5 year or Last Jedi is 5 years after Force Awakens? Is
No,
that what you mentioned?
No, because Last Jedi was right after Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So Force Awakens would be probably 25 years after this show.
Here's the thing: the Battle of Jakku, they don't talk about it at all in the movies, other than just they call it the Battle of Jakku. They show it in Battlefront, but really it's nothing. It's just the Empire had a base on Rey's planet and they got beat. That's all it is.
Okay.
Don't listen to these canon nerds. It means nothing. It means nothing until they say it means
Travis
something.
hates canon.
It
unless it's
doesn't
in
though,
the
because it
movies.
doesn't. It's back like that, and then you say that, and then Kirk will be like, "Oh, what's the Battle of Jakku?" Same thing. They don't even explain.
He's
these new
allowed to
they-
know.
No,
these
he
things.
can know.
He likes
The
Secrets of the
canon
Jedi,
When you
are
throw-
not to be betrayed.
when you throw out these facts without context, they don't make sense. That's why they don't even explain how the First Order is a thing.
What do
in
you
these
mean
movies.
without context?
Because
I'm
right
just telling-
there, when you're
He
like,
asked
"Oh, the
the
battle,"
que-
you
he asked
said
the
the Battle of
question.
Jakku in Force Awakens. You made it sound like there was a whole battle that Kirkland slept through in the theaters that he didn't see. But the Battle of Jakku has nothing to do with the new series or this yet. It's just
The
was a
Battle
plan.
of Jakku was the result of everything we see on Jakku, the down Star Destroyers and everything. It's completely tied to it.
You know what I
The
say?
suit is
You know what
not
I say?
black.
The Battle of Jak. Who?
To be fair, I think I'm gonna have to lean more on Travis's side, where I feel like you're putting a lot more emphasis on this Battle of Jakku, where it wasn't like Battle of Yavin. I feel like that's a lot more
Battle of Endor.
impactful. Yeah,
My
a lot
theory
more
is that the
impactful.
Battle of Jakku never actually happened.
No, it hasn't in the movies. So.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Nope.
Let us know, fans, what you think of Battle.
It was
Battle
all.
of
It was a
Jakku. I'm
hologram.
outnumbered by these
Hologram.
non-canon junkies.
Non-canon. What does that mean? Like we're
You
we're
don't
junkies of what?
Non-canon.
You don't- Yeah.
How do we like consume so much of something that we become
You guys
junkies
are a bunch of avocados.
That's fair. All right.
All right.
Alright.
Anything else
ate
to
an
say
avocado
on
this
this
morning.
episode? I know Taylor, you got some notes over there. So if there's anything else,
I like
but
the concept art in the credits. Is nice.
yep,
It is
that
appreciate-
first shot.
appreciated.
Yeah, with him and the baby was looking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Notes? Anything? I'll take a look too. But I think I have.
It's awesome seeing like different styles of Mandalorian helmets. I'm excited. Hopefully we see more going into it. I totally missed the third one in that room. I should watch it on a bigger screen. Apparently.
1831.
1831. Baby.
1830. Oh yeah, I'll write that in my note. So
The two notes I had was they did a shout out to A New Hope, where the Mandalorian, when he was looking for like species around, something jumped up and scared him. The same thing happens to Luke with sand people, so that was like a nice tribute. And also, I just want to get
Sand people.
your yes or no answer, Taylor, on do they name Yoda's species in this movie? And you guys, or this series, you guys say the same, because right now it has no name.
Really?
I think they will. I think
in
they're
all the canon, it doesn't have a name.
Nope.
doesn't have a name. No.
Even in like the books.
The book's nothing. It is
And
never
that's why I think
mentioned.
no, because George said he never wanted it named, and I think Dave will respect that. So I'm going no. I think they'll just refer to it as like the
And
subject.
I think as a
the
power
content.
play, he's gonna name it just to stick it to George.
My Star Wars now,
That's fair.
Daddy.
I
Daddy,
think,
you George Lucas.
I would hope that they wouldn't, because I love the mystery to
You
it.
love
But I
George.
think Disney is just going brave and bold
Fuck
with
you,
this.
George.
So
Brave
I-
and bold.
they bought us scripts and didn't even use them. So
The
I
old,
think
well, they had to.
They burned them for warmth.
in front of him. They tied him down. They burned him. No, the only reason I could see them
texts.
the only reason I could see them giving it a name so they could sell that toy in stores. So
Yeah, not
like a
Yodel.
name. Do you mean
Yeah.
like a name for the character or just the species?
the species, because I don't think who's gonna name this character. unless
Avocado
some-
creature.
Yeah,
I
unless
c-
Jimmy
the
comes back like my
Mandalorian.
son,
yeah.
Jimmy Jr.
I don't know. I'd enjoy if the Mandalorian gave him a name or something. Or
I
just
think
call
there's
him
a
something.
chance. I don't know what the story is gonna go, but I think there's a chance this baby survives
Baby.
this
I
season
really hope it
and
does.
ends up taking along.
becomes
with
like
the
a buddy
Mando.
cop show, just like him and
yeah, Baby Groot again.
Him and
Just-
Yodel.
Yeah,
When you say baby, I'm just thinking of Death Stranding. Oh.
baby.
I
Baby.
really wanted to
back
live
my baby.
because, and it's something at one of my last shout out, I guess I'll say for Mandalorian is when
Last
IG-11 was about to shoot and you just see the red flash. I love how that scene happened quick enough that I feel like I didn't have time to tell myself that obviously they're not going to kill the baby, but it was just such a quick scene that happened and popped off and the IG-11 drops and you reassure yourself, oh good, like it didn't happen obviously, but
They used
It
some
was-
camera trickery on that.
They
'Cause He
did.
got shot in the head, but the Mandalorian did not move at all. So
didn't.
legitimately,
It
it
was
made no sense. But it was just
so
like, oh,
good.
we're gonna wink and be like, oh, he's gonna kill this kid. No, he killed the robot.
yeah,
It's fine.
but movie magic makes you think the kid
Yeah.
died, but it did not.
To answer your question, I'm gonna say no because for them to just give like this species a name that it hasn't had a name this entire time since the 70s, since Star Wars has been a thing. I just feel like it would be very weird for them to just reveal such a big thing in like a TV series, but I don't know.
What if they just call it the Filoni?
The Filoni?
The Filoni
Oh, man,
species.
I was
I-
thinking more like the guac.
I'm
Guac.
giving this show an F if it's called the Filoni. Dave Filoni's like, yeah, we're gonna name it me.
That's what I would do.
His first name's
Power
Dave.
play.
Is that
The
the
species
power play?
Filoni.
Yeah.
the muss.
Think about how much value it puts on his family name. You can
100%.
respect that as a family name defender, right, Mr. Field?
I can't. Yeah, I'm big on family names.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a throwback.
To no joke that's privy to them. Do you have? Are you done with your notes, Taylor?
Yes, I
What
am.
do we want to do with ratings? If anyone that does ratings, do we do out of tens? The TV shows, when we did retros, we've done fives. We've done thumbs up and thumbs downs. What do we want to do? Because
don't-
it's different.
We have to do
situation.
something themed to the show.
I don't know if I like rating each episode.
I'll
Okay.
rate each episode.
Me and
I will
Taylor
give this
read-
a
rate.
ripe avocado out of ripest of avocados. I
I'm
don't know.
I'm gonna say it's a great start to a hopefully great series.
I'm gonna give 5 scores on TV shows. I don't know why, just smaller, so I feel like they need a smaller range. I'm going a 4 out of 5 on this one.
Are
I
you
think
doing
that's-
.5s?
Yeah, I'll do point
0.7s?
Yeah, I'll do 0.5s, 0.7s, 0.69s, the whole deal.
Ayo.
But I don't know why I can't give it a 0.5. I think as a 0.5, I needed to really have some, other than the avocado thing, that was a big surprise. I think it was just like a really solid, really good episode. I think it was just more me looking forward to what's on the horizon, and I feel like there's 4.5s or 5s out there. But I think that this was just a solid one. I think it was quite short. I think there was, like I said, that kind of origin mini thing. I was like, oh, eh. I would say, I didn't say this in my opening, I think the effects were great 90% of the time. There was one when he was walking with the Ugnaught and they were like behind on the creatures. It looked very prequel, like CGI-ish. So there wasn't that many times, but there was a few times when it stuck out. It really did. But it's fine. It happens. It's a big space movie. It's a TV show. It looks like a movie most of the part, but I do think some effects were a little off. Yeah, I like the world they set up. I like the characters we have so far. I'm very interested for Friday. I think we're going to have some good conversations these next 7 weeks. So please continue to join us, because I just think if they led with this in the first episode, that cliffhanger, what else do they got? So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. You know, good old thumb and a half.
I'm gonna do the 5 thing like you. I think that's very fair. I'm gonna do 5 pieces of Beskar steel out of 5 pieces of Beskar
Wow.
steel.
Damn.
Perfect episode.
What about Beskar Iron? Is that
Well,
a different
technically,
rating?
it's supposed to be the same thing, but for some reason they call
We
it
should do the
steel
rating
here.
system like on his armor set. Like he's got, you're saying he's got 5 out of 5 pieces of the armor set. Like he's getting the armor set bonus.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty solid.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
going for that
That's
critical
impressive.
hit too. I'd say that this whole episode just it blew my mind. You know, I would deduct. I feel like I could deduct it. You know, a Beskar steal for
But why? Right?
for the fact that it was a short episode, but I feel like that's unjustified. 'Cause
Wait,
the whole
aren't they all going to be this long?
No, I think they'll vary. I think they'll vary
vary,
from 40 to an
yeah.
hour.
So I feel like that would be on my part unjustified because the whole time I was entertained. It did what it was supposed to, and it started really well. It ended really well.
Yeah, but you could still give it. I'm not saying you have to, but you can still dog a show for being short if you felt it was rushed. Like, oh, this could need some time.
I
right?
could,
And
but
did
I
feel it was
definitely-
a little at times.
Well, that's fair. To me, I didn't feel like it was rushed as I was watching it. Thinking back on it, I mean, I definitely can agree there are some moments where maybe it felt like it.
but
But
still 5.
yeah, it's holy fuckaroni.
Fuckaroni.
Fuckaroni Filoni.
uh,
Pepperoni.
But yeah, the show is full of surprises. The action sequences never cease to amaze me. I loved all of them. I love,
Never
we got him.
cease to
We
amaze
got him 4
That's
to
a
1.
poster quote right there.
Never cease to amaze me. We got him 4-1, and he's like, "I'll take those odds."
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
just he's just
Suave.
such a- he is. You know,
Even though from
Suave.
what we saw later on, I think he still might have fucking died there. So I don't know if he's that great.
his arm, depending where he got hit, his Beskar steel would have deflected probably
Yeah,
all
but
the
it-
Or
shots.
if they just hold him down. and beat the
E11s?
shit
He
out of
didn't.
him.
Maybe he didn't actually believe that, but it's
Yeah.
just a claim.
Oh
right?
yeah, 100%. I just mean like
Just to scare them. I mean, they were in their grungy little clone and their stormtrooper armor.
Yeah.
It's like brown on the edges. It's like, come on, guys, you gotta clean that shit. you
when
know?
he said that the first, I'm like, oh, he could for sure take these guys. But at the end, I was like, oh, maybe he couldn't. So yeah, it's good to see that maybe he's still a Mando figuring his crap out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many questions and just that I have that are still yet unanswered. Like I immediately, as soon as this episode was done, I just started doing my research and like I'm gonna be bringing it for these reviews, doing the
Bringing
research
it.
and just looking into everything that I can. And
Very nice.
there's so much story here that is just really just pulling me in. And now to handle all of this story as it progresses. And the fact of waiting for the anticipation of Rise of Skywalker, like I don't know how I'm gonna do
It's
it.
a lot of Star Wars.
It's a
And
lot
Jedi
of
Fallen
Star Wars
Order.
and Fallen Order now with more canon stuff. Like I'm a big canon whore, and it's gonna be really, really
Canon
tight in these
whore.
next
He's
few
all in a
weeks.
cannon bukkake the whole bullshit.
Oh my god!
Give me that cannon.
There's lightsabers all around his
Yeah.
face.
That's Shmee juice.
Don't lose an eye.
Shmee juice, baby.
Alrighty.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought you were gonna say something else.
See you
Yep,
later.
We did it.
That's
Wow, wow. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming. Bye.
One
Yeah.
and done, baby.
Yeah, 1 down, 7 to go. Very exciting. So we'll be back. I'm not sure when we're going to do. Probably Friday night when we'll do the other one, but that'll be dropping. That's why you just want to subscribe, because when the episode drops, whenever we record it and put it into the interwebs, you'll get it right away, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, YouTube for the video version, the whole shebang. If you just go to our description.
I said yep.
Okay. If you just go to our description down below, we have every single link that we are. Go to
true.
Patreon, because soon we'll be recording our Last Jedi commentary track at the end of November, and that'll go up early there, so that's going to be a spicy one. And we got lots of stuff up there, especially in 2020. Right now we're pretty busy, but in 2020 we're going to be popping off with lots of fun, just purely exclusive
Yeah.
Patreon stuff, so you're going to want to stay tuned to that.
We got a lot of big plans in the works, folks.
Big plans. Big, ripe plans.
Big GV
so
plans.
we hope you enjoy this. Like Taylor said, let us know in the comments below. Answer anything Taylor threw at you. But until the next episode, what the fuck is Kirkland
Kirkland's
Patch
just-
over there?
I think it had too much sugar.
Kirkland's not going to be on the next review, but yeah, we got 7 more to
you've been
go.
fired, baby.
So I promise you won't be boring, and may the force be with you.
We'll smell you next time.
I have spoken.
Whatever the fuck Greedo
Wow,
said.
you ruined our fucking
Did you say
clone.
bukkake?
Kombucha, yeah.
Kombucha.
What do you, Pang? What do you want? The Kamakuku? You know, you ruined our Clone Wars retro outro, you bastard.
Well, you didn't tell me you were going for that.
If I say
They-
may the force be with you,
They chived in and it threw me off. What is the thing Greedo said again? Kamaka?
no, woo wonky,
Bukkake.
wonky, bukkake.
Guys, did you know that this fucking glass has a goddamn lighthouse on it?
What?
Why is mine, bitch? Was he? The lighthouse keeper?
That's what I want Ray to say in episode 9.